Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Apex Racing TV for the TSRC TV V-TEC 2.4 hour series. And we're here at the Grand Prix of Canada at the Montreal circuit, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Quebec, Canada. Andrew Woodhouse here alongside Alex Simpson, Adam Bath and Sam Fitzpatrick. And Adam, I'll bring you in first. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, we love this place. And we've got a new series on Apex Racing TV, a special event.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see. We've got a team racing, what used to be probably one of the endurance race formats before we introduced the team races a few years ago on iRacing. Yeah, 2.4 hours. We're going to see quite a few classes in action around this circuit today. 4.36 kilometers. We've got the Daytona prototypes, the 4 GTs. There's only one of them. And we've got the Ferrari 488s. That they make up the GTE class, and then we've got the GT3s of the Mercedes, the Audi. And we've even got our own safety car for this one, so plenty for us to keep our eyes on across the next 2.4 hours.
Yeah, and Alex Simpson, endurance race here tonight, mate. And well, it's a circuit where it's pretty difficult to drive for such a long period of time and keep the concentration up, avoid the walls and things like that. What would the drivers be looking for out there on the circuit today?
Yeah, well, I think to be honest, you've highlighted the key things there. I mean, we often see it, don't we, that drivers push to the limits and get damage around here so easily, and you're going to lose lap time very, very quickly. So, calm and steady as the first part of the race goes, just to make sure that you you don't end it very, very quickly, and can hand it off to your relevant sort of team driver. But yeah, most importantly, I think get into that rhythm as quickly as you can, and get comfortable with the car, and then just start pushing as the race progresses.
Sam, we've got a lot of different classes out there today, and is that going to cause any difficulties for the drivers throughout this race?
Yeah, certainly around this circuit, the first half of the lap, very few opportunities to overtake. I've personally done a few IMSA races around here, and it is very difficult to pass kind of for the first 7 or 8 corners. So that could be quite messy, but you would expect as the race goes on, drivers to gain a bit of patience and learn how to lap the traffic around here.
One thing I have noticed, Adam, looking at qualifying times, is everything's very, very close out there. Only 8 seconds between the fastest driver and the slowest driver, despite so many different classes.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for any of these guys to really separate out. The Daytona prototypes, we've got 5 of them. They are the slowest one in that class is only a tenth of a second or so quicker than the beginning of the GTEs. So it's going to be really 4 classes all mixed into one, because apart from any big crashes, I don't think we're going to see much lapping or any lap traffic at all going on. Let's run you through the grid then. We are going to have a rolling start, I believe, for this one. So on the pole position.
Sorry, Adam, it's worth pointing out as well, the safety car, the series official safety car will basically take us all around a lap here, so it won't be the iRacing one that will kick in.
Yeah.
Indeed,
it is. Yeah, I can see the normal safety car, and then I can see our official safety car at the back of the field. So I presume it's going to overtake everyone once we get the go. And it's running through the grid. On the pole position then, in the Daytona prototypes, it is the ETA SimSport car of Philip Sudbeck starting for them. Second is Missile Motorsports with Eric Jaeger in second. Third, Schofield Racing with Rob Schofield. And then in to fourth place, it is 4X Racing, actually, with David Costello. Then fifth, Total Downforce Racing with Riley Thompson. Then we go into the GTEs. It is the Ferrari on the pole with Ooms Motorsport, Jeffrey Ooms, starting on the pole. And second is Racing Community.de Fire, and that is Niels Hunderhaeg starting in second. Then we go into the one and only Ford GTE, and that is the Reverend Racing car of Arjuna Kankipati. And then into the rest of the Ferraris, we've got West Fraser Sim Racing with Mark Hewitt, Racing Community.de Water with Jos van der Ven. Then into the next car class, which is the Audis. We've got Franz Sam in the SimSync Pro Racing car. Then we've got ETA SimSport number 4 of Mike Hernberg, as we'll see the V-TEC safety car drive by. Then we've got VEC Sim Racing with Chris Dubrec, and then another Ferrari of Frank de Borstel, and then more Audis and Nils Hartmann, Michel Smears, Jeremy Hopp, and then Robert Herrenberg, Brendan Uno, Stefan Moda, and then some more guys are starting in the back. Jack Turner for the 4X OGR team, Jonathan Diggs in the Diggs Motorsport car, Philip Gaillard in the VEC Sim Racing Blue, and Ponty Motorsports with Bart Daleman, and that is the 25-car grid that's going to be starting this second race of the season.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to have a full pace lap here with the safety car, of course.
Definitely Slasher driving the car.
Yeah, they did supply us with a decal layer for this, but sadly it's not coming up. So yeah, something we'll have to look at. Unfortunately, new series gremlins that occasionally pop up. But yeah, so everybody's still being patient. So tempting, isn't it? When that green flag, you hear that green flag call. It's just like, go,
boot it and go. This is
someone in World's Fastest Gamer. Yeah.
Oh god, yeah. Dear me. Unfortunately for him, he didn't speak English. I think, which was the main problem. Didn't stop him getting disqualified, I don't think. But yeah, Stefan Slasher is doing the honours at the front of the field in the safety car. It's good because actually, a proper formation lap with a safety car that actually doesn't crash off the track on its own, Alex, is quite a convenient thing in itself.
Well, yeah, and exactly, and it's going to run at a decent pace out there, and it's not going to do anything rash or stupid. Like we were, there was a safety car here somewhere in one of the series we covered.
Ritmatech last week. Yeah,
Ritmatech, and it was doing all sorts of drifting and crabbing and all sorts, wasn't it? So, but yeah, I'm just a bit gutted that we haven't got the livery on it. So.
There's almost like an invisible tow rope dragging it around the circuit last week. Yeah, Stefan Slasher, well-respected driver. I've heard of him, and driving the safety car around.
Yeah, quite experienced, I believe. Daytona Prototypes, one of them, the second-place driver, Eric Jaeger, weaving around a little bit. Alex, is that just detrimental to the performance, no matter what, really, or will it actually help a little bit on this formation?
Not in the prototypes, no. They do suffer actually cold tyres. So
with warm-up issues.
Yeah, exactly. So there are ones that you kind of want to do. I think we saw this when we were covering the IMSA series back in the day. They, the prototypes used to pit, and actually they'd be slower for a lap or so. So you could effectively lose a place by coming in a lap earlier. So people were trying to go for the overcut where they could.
So we may get that here as well.
It looks like Stefan's coming into the pits at the end of this lap. Then he's taken off, and we've now got the 4 Daytona prototypes getting ready to go.
We go, and now that the green flag is blown in the session, the guys can just go whenever they want. Here we go. Then Philip Sudbeck has hit the loud pedal. Here he goes, and he needs a clean chicane. How embarrassing would it be to be in the Wall of Champions on lap 1? But Sudbeck is away, and this race is underway in the 2.4 hours of Montreal.
Straightforward for the DPs. What about the GTEs? We're getting the green flag for them now. It's pretty much line astern. Bit difficult to go to file through the final corner, but good start by the Ooms Motorsport team. Home event for them. They are Canadian, and it is Jeffrey Ooms leading the way through the Centre S.
Single file restart here, Sam. It'll eliminate some of the first lap carnage. Not quite as exciting for us watching it, but I'm sure that'll mean there's more cars in with a shot of winning the race later on.
Yeah, certainly going to be a race of attrition, so we don't want to have any accidents in the first corner. Brendan Juno for Trash Panda Racing made a very bold move on Jeremy Hopp in the VEC Sim Racing car. Mrs. Bacon zone, and there was very nearly an incident between them at the bus stop, but the final chicane, I should say. There was very nearly contact between them, but they just about managed to get through.
Everybody is through, Adam. They're looking pretty good so far. I think just the 4X Racing DP has started from the pit lane and in fact quite a way behind. So I don't know if they've actually come in for a pit stop.
I think, sorry to interrupt, I think on the formation lap they start from the pits. I don't think they actually took their place on the grid on the back straight. I think they start from the pits.
That explains it, because they weren't starting with the Daytona prototypes. Good start by quite a few cars in the GT3s. They've gained a position or two. Nils Hartmann is now up in 4th place in class. That is driving in the ETA Sim Sport 1 entry. So a good start from him. He's up to 4th in class as we go through the chicane to complete the opening lap of green flag racing. Already the field starting to spread out a little bit. Close battle between Reverend Racing and RacingCommunity.de Fire. This is for second place in the GT.
6th place overall.
Yeah, 6th overall.
And it's Niels Hunderhager in the Ferrari, coming under pressure from Arjuna Kankipati. The Ford driver. We said that the Ford has a little bit more straight line speed. Would that be fair to say, Alex?
Honestly, I don't know. Now, I would like to say yes or no, but since obviously the cars have had a little tweak, haven't they, since we did it in Le Mans? So I would have said at Le Mans, yes, just a tiny little bit, but now I'm not so sure.
Oh, the Ferrari is very agile, or not agile enough on that occasion for Niels Hunderhager. Side by side here, and we're going to get a good comparison of the straight line speed as they go down the back straight towards the final chicane. Looks pretty even to me. But it looks like the Ferrari's got the slight edge, maybe trimmed out a tiny bit more. The last corner, the Ford not really biting at all.
Someone into the wall, I just heard as well. Wall of Champions, the car in front. It could have been Jeffrey.
Jeffrey Holmes, was it?
I think, yeah, I think so.
Canadian driver.
Yeah. The car looks okay, so maybe it was just one of those, you know, you get them around here, don't you? You get those little phantom hits.
Yeah.
He hit the curb quite heavily. Maybe that might have been the sound, I don't know. But
yeah.
Oh, I think he did just skim the wall. I think if anything, it was a bit of a connection issue, but it should just skim the wall with his the rear corner of his car.
Won't want to be doing that too often in this 2 hours and 24 minutes. Looking at the leading GT3 car, Franz Sam in the number 102 Simpson Pro Racing GTD Audi. He is in 12th position overall, and looks like at the moment running this race on his own. See what happens there. Quite a funny thing on the chat, of course, Stefan Slashery was driving the safety car, just disqualified himself in the session, Adam.
obviously not needed, or maybe he might be needed later on.
If he's needed later on, he'll be in all sorts of trouble, won't he?
Yeah.
Have to can you undisqualify someone? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
can.
Sure.
You can.
Black flag's cleared. I've seen that many times in a
Yeah.
VSR session. Yeah.
Number 83 Mercedes is looking pretty feisty out there as well. Chris de Broek. I apologise for the pronunciation already. I've no idea how that one is, I'm afraid. But he's looking behind Mike Nürnberg in the ETA SimSport 4 car. And it looks like that Chris is getting fairly close in the VEC Sim Racing car.
Yeah, that is 3rd place, isn't it? In 14th place overall. And they're just going for the final chicane now, so pretty close. The top 3 in the GT3 class. There was another battle I was just having a look at earlier on between Jeremy Hoppe and Brendan Uno in the Trash Panda racing car. Those two Audis are pretty close as we come across the start line.
Yeah, and that was the battle that Sam was talking about at the beginning of the race, where Hoppe was passed in quite spectacular fashion by Brendan Juno.
Right, looking at in terms of what we've got for the fuel, I can tell you that the Ferrari, the fuel limit is 60%. To make sure that we definitely get a pit stop in this one. From memory of us racing at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the Ferrari could do just under an hour stint on a tank of fuel. So I think with a 60% it's going to be a bit less than that.
Yeah, I think we're right on that one. Just having a little look actually. So yeah, there's no driver change rules as well in this series, so obviously drivers can complete the race on their own. Is there much of an advantage, Alex, to running a second driver here, do you think?
Oh, I don't think so, actually. I think it's an advantage to run as a solo person. as always, when that second driver gets in, takes them a few laps just to warm up and get a rhythm. There's a lot of responsibility on the shoulders, isn't there? I know certainly when I do the Blanc Pan, I take over from like Antoine or Jamie.
Oh, here we
takes me 5 laps or so.
Hoppe up the inside. He Hoppe's over the curb and gets into 17th place.
Yeah, good move. Got the good run, didn't he? Down that back straight. It's, that's what Montreal's notorious for, isn't it? That back straight and overtakes into the chicane. Good move. Mr. Beck as well just jumped on board with him, having a little bit of a moment coming out of the first chicane. Dropped off a little bit from the back of Mike's ladies there.
At the front, it's quite a comfortable lead for Philip Sudbeck in the ETA SimSport 6 car. Number 32, 1.6 seconds clear of Eric Jaeger's Missile Motorsports car. And then there's 3.6 seconds to Rob Schofield. Then another 6 seconds to Total Downforce Racing. So, Dan, the times we were seeing in qualifying were extremely close. We're just simply not getting that in the race so far.
Yeah, a few gaps are definitely emerging, but these drives may just be, well, what you want to do at this stage really is just to race at your own pace. You don't want to be increasing the pace just because there's a faster car ahead of you. Otherwise, that's where errors can creep into your driving. So these guys just got to think about the most efficient way around this place and make sure they don't make any early on errors. Because if we do get a safety car later on, then all these gaps will close back in and any early pace will be irrelevant.
Yeah, you don't want to make mistakes later on in the race.
Good lap.
Sorry,
good lap
go on,
last time around by Philip Sudbeck. The gap was 1.6 seconds, as you were saying. He was able to increase it to just over 2 seconds on the last lap, and the gap's up to 3 seconds now. So the tyres have definitely come up to temperature now for the ETA SimSport 6 car, and yeah, he's starting to put in the lap times. It might even be on course for another personal best, if not the fastest lap of the race. Sudbeck as he comes through the final corner now. Great race so far from the DH driver, Philip Sudbeck. We'll see what lap time he does actually as he comes across the line. He does a 29.3. Not as quick as his last one, but it looks like Eric Jaeger may have just dropped off the pace a little bit in the Missile Motorsports car.
Yeah, Sudbeck driving nicely out there, and so is Eric Jaeger, but maybe just managing the car, managing the tyres, potentially just keeping a little bit in reserve, because Alex, he was only half a tenth slower in qualifying than Sudbeck, so you'd have expected him to be a bit closer than 2.8 seconds at this moment.
Yeah, I mean lap times last one was quite a bit off, but yeah, we'll just wait and see what's going on there. I mean, drivers could obviously be, I don't want to say they're going to be tyre saving, because no one really does that in iRacing, do they? It's not on the road side of things anyway. You're just going to attack from word go.
Oh.
But he might have a setup that actually just holds on to the tyres a little bit better. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see a little lock up ahead. And I think that's the thing as well. You know, you start having little mistakes like this creep in because you're pushing to the limit, and you might be pulling away. But if you're going to lose, 5 seconds here or there with like little half spins and things like that, it's going to come back to Eric.
Well, what do you always say about, a big lockup could potentially ruin your tyres for the whole stint?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, the tyres are so sensitive now to thermal degradation. So, a big slide or a big lockup, and they're toast for a good sort of half a lap,
Oh, just a mistake on this lap for the Reverend Racing car. Arjuna Kankipati was in second place in class. He had got the Ford by the scruff of the dog collar, and yeah, he went wide in the first chicane and got a slowdown penalty, and it means that West Frisia Sim Racing of Mark Hewitt, he's gone up into third place in the GTEs.
Could be the pig collar as well, because you want to see that Angry Birds pig on the back, don't you, when you look at the new Ford GT. Beautiful looking car, I have to say. And only one represented in this field, a little bit of a shame, but Arjuna Kankipati, or Reverend Racing, doing a pretty good job. He's in 8th place at the moment. That's where he started. So, status quo at the moment for him. And Marcus Schaefer is behind him in the Racing Community.de water car.
We've got fire and water represented here today, racingcommunity.de.
There you go, earth and wind needed. but
unfortunately, it's no longer September. But
but Franz Sam, he's well, he might be wishing the time away actually, because he in the lead, but slowly but surely, Alex, those Mercedes just closing in. The ETA Sim Sport car and the VEC Sim Racing car getting very close, and this surely is the perfect circuit for the Mercedes. It absolutely loves the curbs.
Yeah, it just eats up curbs, never has any issues. And I tell you, the Merc is very good on its tyres as well, so its long run pace is right there. It hasn't got the best qualifying performance. You know, we saw that in the likes of sort of Coanda in the Blancpain GT series. They really struggled to put that car on the front, but actually through the race they used to drive up through that field. So, you know, I can see these guys hunting down Franz somewhat here.
I think hunting party has gathered.
Well, we've got to slow down for Mark Hewitt in the West Fizia sim racing car. I think he just went straight across at the last chicane.
Well, of course, that means he's lost the position to Reverend Racing, Adam.
Oh yes, yeah.
They just got past them.
An act of God, you could say. Yeah, that's got him back up into third place in class. Yeah, Reverend. It's all evening itself out there. Slow down for the Reverend Racing car, and then a slow down for the West Friser Sim Racing car.
The bright light shining down on Reverend Racing. On the seventh day, God created motorsport, and then he rested, as it says. But yeah, I think we've got a good battle on our hands here. Do we think, Sam, that potentially the Ford may be able to do a slightly different strategy to the Ferrari, or are we just thinking it's going to be very similar?
Similar. I think the one car has a slightly larger fuel tank by about 3 litres. It's not really enough to make a difference. I think the Ferrari goes ever so slightly further on fuel, but they're pretty much going to be the exact same strategy. So I don't imagine the reference car is going to be able to pull up any strategic moves. That's right over the curbs, and they nearly hits the wall, and that will be another slow down and another overtake, it seems.
Potentially, unless he can get it served.
And he's just about going to hold it on the inside, but he may have to give in. He may still have that slow down, but no, he's managed to hold on, and we don't have to get another swap of position.
Well, we might now at least get a battle, Adam, because but that Ford GT really not liking the curbs around here.
Compared to the Mercedes, yeah, the Ford isn't having a good time of it, but what we're seeing here is a classic battle from the days of the 60s, Ford versus Ferrari, and Ford GT went on to win racing quite a few times. You can see Reverend Racing getting a bit erratic now as they go through the second of these chicanes, now onto the back straight, see if the Ferrari can use any of the toe to close back up to it. But yeah, interesting battle unfolding here for what will be third place in class, the final spot on the podium up for grabs. Kanki Passy from Pennsylvania, Mark Hewitt from the Benelux crew. So West versus Central Europe. See who gets the best run. You can see Reverend Racing lighting up the tyres there on the exit of the hairpin. We'll see what speeds these GTEs can get up to then as we head down the back straight alongside the rowing lake, which was used for the Olympics many decades ago. 245, 250 kilometers an hour in the Ford, and the Ferrari about 5 or 6 kilometers an hour quicker. Wasn't able to use it to great effect though, and this time Reverend Racing has a much better run through that final chicane and has been able to put a few tenths of a second on the Ferrari for now.
Montreal Olympics were, was it 76? I think it was, but that's when it was.
Right, yes.
So that's when that's when the rowing lake and things were built. Ile de Notre Dame is a man-made island in the middle of the river here in Quebec, and the circuit has been on the Formula 1 calendar for, I think it's just over 30 years. I think it was 1986 or thereabouts, the first meeting here. And Alex, over the years it's changed somewhat. We used to have a fast a fast section of corners after the hairpin, which was then replaced by the long straight. Do you think that that's helped the racing here?
I mean, I really do like the current layout, but I did like the old one as well.
Oh, the fast.
It's hard to
last
say.
section.
I think, yeah, I think you are right. Actually, I think the current layout now does help the racing somewhat. Because even I remember the older layout as well. In the final sector, the chicane was totally different, wasn't it? It was more like a bus stop style thing, wasn't it? So
yeah.
You know, that it seemed a lot harder for people to get moves done back then than it does now. So yeah, I think they've got a good balance here with the layout.
I think there was some. I think the last sector, especially Adam, was massively different, and the start-finish area, I think, had maybe a couple, might have even been an extra corner or two nearby in there.
I think after the first Senna S complex, it was a bit different there as well. We've been at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve since 1978.
Oh wow, okay.
Apart from 2009, we've been I think we've been here every single year. So yeah, a lot of history here.
Well, I remember obviously when the track was threatening to be pulled off the calendar in 2000. Well, it was pulled off the calendar 2009. It seems stupid that 8 years down the line to think of an F1 calendar without the Canadian Grand Prix again. Such a brilliant event. Every single year it seems to bring good racing.
Well, it's very popular, isn't it, the Canadian Grand Prix? We always get some good races as well. Some pretty big crashes in recent years. That Felipe Massa, Sergio Perez one always springs to mind on the final lap.
Kubica.
Yeah, Kubica in 2007. They went on to win the race the following year as well in 2008. That's when we had all the track breakup issues where the Reverend racing car was just going through now, that hairpin. Martin Brundle getting into a bit of trouble for some of the stuff he said on ITV about it. I remember that.
That was fantastic. I shouldn't be condoning that, but it was quite funny. But they were going so slowly through there, though. I do remember that the cars by the end could barely drive through the hairpin. It was awful. Then we had Takuma Sato passing Fernando Alonso.
We had Hamilton and Raikkonen in the pit lane.
Crashing in the pit lane, and then Rosberg as well, joining them. Yeah, absolutely great. Buttons winning 2011.
Yeah, we had the man falling over in the track, the marshal trying to pick up the debris from Heifeld's crash, yeah.
We had a bit of controversy last year where Hamilton pushed Rosberg onto the grass at the start, and really when you think about Alex, when you think about everything that's happened at this race, it's one of those where when you know the Canadian Grand Prix is coming up, and you always think, oh, this could be a good race. There's some tracks where you sort of go, oh, I'm not sure if it's going to be fun, but Canada's always good, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. It's every time, and that's why it just keeps coming back now. A bit of a fan favourite, a bit of a driver's favourite actually. I think they really enjoy going there, and I think every meeting we cover, be it some sort of Grand Prix open wheeler to the the GT tin tops, it's been great. Like the Rick Mattek race round here was absolutely epic last week as well. So
yeah.
Right down to the wire on the last lap, wasn't it? Last corner.
Brilliant.
So
the slowdown, that settled it.
Yeah, so these things can happen. For me, the highlight, obviously, I'm a big Jenson Button fan. So when he comes storming through from the back in the wet weather to pit Vettel, I was a happy lad.
Unbelievable race. That was one of the best possibly in history of Formula One.
I was allowed to stay up for that one. It was a school night, but there you go.
It was a long one, that as well, wasn't it?
Oh, mistake.
What's happened?
Just on board. I'm just having a look. I think it was Hop who made the mistake.
Hop.
Oh, that's Trash Panda Racing, is it? Oh yeah.
Well, that's BC Sim Racing back in 18.
Sim Racing. Sorry, Brandon Juno has managed to get pretty close to him as well. He is in the Trash Panda Racing number 17 car. They are sandwiched. They're sandwiching Hop between him and Stefan Modder in the BC Sim Racing number 85 car.
This is the battle for last place as well, really, because Michelle Smears has returned to the pits. Didn't crash out on the circuit.
Very late move there by Juno.
That was
that work.
That was more by luck than judgment. That wasn't it?
I think he missed his braking point and had to turn it into an overtake. And what an overtake!
Brilliant, yeah.
And here comes the other Audi. Look at the overspeed.
Here comes Hoppe down the back straight then.
Is he letting through?
Oh,
no.
It's going to be close.
He's just got no straight line speed, has he, Juno?
Got quite a bit of damage on the left side of the car as well, so maybe that's hurting him. And of course that move potentially got him out of the slipstream, didn't he, of Motorhead, so...
Yep. Oh, Ooms having a look up the inside now as well, Jeffrey Ooms. Going through on Hoppe, it's all going wrong for Hoppe.
Seems to lose a lot of time in this, in these cars if you make a mistake. You see cars battling, and the next minute there's a 1.5 second gap between them.
Ooms is lapping him, remember, at this point, so...
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Ooms, who is 19 seconds ahead of the rest.
Of course he is, he's in the... Yeah, sorry.
In his GTE.
Got to be careful then. That's the
with
the two cars looking identical. You could be
sorry, that's the
mistaken.
pitfalls of chase cam. Sorry, I was looking. I just saw another car going through. I wondered who it was. But that shows the speed of the Ferrari, doesn't it? In qualifying, there wasn't much in it between these cars, but in the race, the Ferrari looking much better and much faster than these GT3 cars.
Well, yeah, Ooms last time around did a 31.8 compared to these two Audis of Juno and Hoppe. They're doing 37s and 39s. So there's the 6 seconds.
Qualified. Let's have a look. Juno qualified at 34.7 and Hoppe at 34.5. So that's how much they're slowing each other up with these various mistakes and overtakes. And here comes Hoppe again. Juno's got absolutely no straight line speed at all. And Hoppe up the inside.
I want to point out there's been a change for the lead as well in the GT3 class. Mike has got himself, and he's got himself up and into the lead. So I'm not sure where that happened. There's quite a margin now, 2.8 seconds. So while we were watching that battle, that position swapped. And of course, Chris Breck's, well, he's got damage on the car, so maybe that was all involved. I'm not too sure. I'll be back in just a second, guys.
Yep.
Just having a look, actually. Oh no, I thought I'd found it, but it's the ETA SimSport team do have quite a few drivers in the field, so I think it might have happened a while ago.
The leader was quite close to the World of Champions there, and these GT3 cars battling. Of course, that might be some issue for the Daytona prototype Sam and also the GTA cars later on. They try to get through battling drivers.
Yeah, no doubt. We saw earlier on in the F1, if anyone saw it, Alonso holding up the two leaders. I won't spoil it for anyone, but in the closing stages, kind of ruining the battle. But yeah, could be the same thing here, apart from it'll probably be for 2.5 hours instead. So yeah, certainly something quite difficult to manage with.
Now the 102 car is out.
Yes, Franz Sam is out. He's been in the pits for 9 minutes, though.
Is that what you were going to say anyway? Was it?
I was just going to notice that the VEC sim racing car's lost its front bonnet. So don't know how long.
Which one?
He suffered that. The number 83, Chris de Breck. But yeah, Smears and Franz Sam have both been in the pits for nearly 10 minutes now. So I wonder if something might have happened between the Benelux and the Diatch drivers. I'll quickly have a look back for you.
Because Franz Sam was in the lead. That's why the Mercedes is in the lead, because it's...
Oh, we were getting all nostalgic and we missed something. Right, I'll go.
Because
I'll track it down.
Past the Audi. The Audi retired.
Right, I'm looking at Franz Sam. He is leading the way in the class. Everything going pretty well for him. Oh, he just pulls off to the side of the road and retires. So nothing. Nothing controversial about it. Don't know whether dinner was ready or something was not right, but yeah.
Oh, there's been some chat in the YouTube channel. Apparently, his rift broke. Or he had a black screen with his rift, and he had to retire the car.
Oh dear. Well, if you're blind, well, you're not going to last long, are you? So, Franz Sam out of the race. The SimSync Pro Racing GTD car out of the running for today's win. Michel Smears. I'll have a quick check to see what happened to the Benelux driver, car 37. They've been in the pits for quite some time now. The Mercedes GT3. Just having a look what happened to them. Oh, they had a crash. That's what happened. At the first chicane where Button and Alonso crashed back in 2011. And it looks like it's a meatball flag, and he has been in the pits for 11 minutes getting that damage repaired. Right then, race order. We haven't done it in a while. We are 1 hour and 54 minutes to go here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Philip Soudbeck leads the way then in the ETA Sim Sport number 6 car, and he's into the pit lane. So, yeah, pit stops beginning to get underway here. Fastest
Marco Schaefer's on.
Schaefer's off.
Yeah, the iRacing community.de water. He saw the car ahead of him coming to the pits and completely missed his braking zone, so really easy error to make, and always just gone a little bit wide at turn 1 as well, so got to regather, and just got an opportunity now to jumping up the pit stop, so need a couple of good laps now.
Rob Schofield takes the lead then, as Missile Racing and ETA Sim Sport come into the pits. We'll wait and see if there's any former driver change in this one, but yeah, Rob Schofield now the race leader as the top two come in. Very quick stop by Soudbeck, 16.4 seconds. He's on his way, no driver change there. Eric Jaeger, 16 seconds, 4/10 of a second quicker. He is back underway.
That's about a similar gap to what it was before the stops. Where's the Schofield racing car? Well, around the back of the circuit. Was that a longer stop for them, was it?
Schofield hasn't been in yet.
Oh, he's not been in at all. All
he's
right,
still
sorry.
going.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, he said he took the lead, didn't he? Sorry, that's fine. Yep.
Klaus Pettersson has got behind the wagon of the 167 car as Jeffrey Ooms clouts the wall, not for the first time.
Got behind the wagon.
I think Marco
Circle the wagons.
got behind the wagon.
That's what you said. I was only going up what you said.
Marco Schaffer might have had a bit of an issue.
The wagon wheel, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not hungry in the slightest. As Schaffer locked the rears. A brake bias issue, perhaps, for the racing community.de water entry. He spun the rear at. He lost the rear at the hairpin, and he had to back up, and he lost a position or two, but he's now back going again with no damage.
Well, water's one of the things, of course, that it's pretty safe to say that they will avoid this evening. But hopefully they will avoid the wall as well, because that's the main issue, that's the main culprit around here. The 83 car is really starting to suffer now. That damage, that front damage, it's really looks like it's slowing him down. Just a break.
Rob Schofield is in and away. It looks like he's going to lose. Well, he's lost a position overall to Jeffrey Ooms, but Ooms gets a pit in his Ferrari, and Schofield should comfortably remain in third place in the Daytona prototypes. As the timing screen gets very, very confusing as the pit stops begin in all the classes.
And of course, my statement was completely wrong. Chris de Brek lapping absolutely fine, really. That's causing him absolutely no issue at all. But there we have it. He's actually quicker than the other Mercedes of Mike Nürnberg that time round. 134.953 for Nürnberg and 34.1 for de Brek. Who's in the pits then?
Cars in the pits. We've got into the pits comes Brendan Juno, who was battling towards the rear of the field earlier on. He's in the GT3s. He looks like he's the only car that's been in. Other cars that have been in that GT3 class in comes Chris de Brek, yeah.
So see what he does in his Mercedes then, or whether there's required repairs for him. Doubt it. You would have known about it by now. He's done enough laps since he lost the bonnet.
Into pits for the for the first time today, sort of, comes David Costello, the man from Pennsylvania. Started from the pit lane at the start of the race.
Right, hence sort of, yes. I wondered what you meant, but yeah, he has been in there already. You're right. Number 58. We'll see what his time's like. He's one lap down at the moment, though, unfortunately. He's back. It's just a driver change.
Yeah, Tom Van Hooman getting in the car.
Let's put a human in the car. Don't know it's useful. Sorry, he's never heard that joke before. Look at this gaggle of cars. And it's Jeremy Hoppe, Arjuna Kankipati for Reverend Racing, and then it's Mark Hewitt for West Frisia Sim Racing. So they're going to try and clear the Audi as quickly as possible. The Ferrari dives through into the chicane. This battle, which was going on for most of the first half an hour, looks like it's going to continue into the second half an hour, Sam.
Yeah, actually been a really good battle. Wayne, it just seems as though he might be perhaps just biding his time behind the Red Bull racing car. But we'll see who comes into the pits first, and see if one of them can get the jump in the pit stops. Actually, he's quite close now. He could perhaps he could line himself up for a move at the chicane, very deep on the brakes into the hairpin, and now just got to get right into the slipstream and try to close that gap, but he is quite far back, so he's just going to have to hold station. Because all these laps following him in the tow will save him a bit of fuel, so he could go a couple of laps further in this opening stint.
See if they come in at the end of this lap then. Here comes the Ford into the final chicane. He does not come in. Takes a lot of that curve again though, and you can see how far he went wide on the exit. This might be Hewitt's best opportunity, running right up to the back of the rear end of the Ford GT. It looks like the Ford has the legs on the Ferrari going into the first corner, and again it is the Reverend racing car that remains in that position.
Yeah,
great battle.
I think the Ford is slightly faster than the Ferrari in terms of the drivers that they're in them, or at least it was in the first stint. Reverend Racing looked like they had a tenth or two in hand, but I do think since Mark Hewitt been really getting on it in the last few laps, really putting the pressure on Arjuna Kankipati.
Just to remind everybody that the Daytona prototypes have now pitted. However, due to the GTE cars going quite a bit into the race, they are scattered in and amongst the field. Sudbeck continues to lead. He's 10 seconds ahead of Eric Yeager in second. Then third in class, Rob Schofield is about 28 seconds behind the second place car. And then you've got to look for Riley Thompson in the Total Downforce racing car, who's fourth in class. He is 8th overall as the GTE leader pits, Jeffrey Ooms.
Ooms 28 seconds off the lead, which is pretty respectable considering he's in a Ferrari compared to the Daytona prototypes. But in he comes, Jeffrey Ooms, and he's racing against the RacingCommunity.de car, isn't he? Or was in front of them by quite some distance. In comes one of the Audis.
Nice battle in the pits, actually. Here we go. Here come the Reverend racing car and the West Frisia sim racing car of Mark Hewitt. This is going to be who's going to be coming out on top here. I was thinking of something to say, but then I'll come back to you on that one.
Go on, what was it? So yeah, Hewitt and Kankipati going into the pits.
The Reverend racing car, well, they must have an all-powerful pit crew.
There you go.
But we'll see what happens. 15 seconds, 16 seconds. They both arrived at the pit box at pretty much exactly the same time.
Here comes the Audi as well. Don't want that to
be close.
In the way, it's so close. It's just going to be the Reverend racing car. Needs to engage the limiter quickly and does. And yeah, away and ahead, but still behind the RacingCommunity.de fire car. Oh no, it's the other one. Sorry, that is the. That's actually the water car.
That's the water car, yeah.
So that's exactly the same livery. Sorry, that's the water car that hasn't pitted yet.
That's driven by Marco Schaffer. Still yet to pit. He's been on his stint now for 23 laps, which is pretty impressive considering that we've got the fuel limiter to 60%.
So they did do some slow laps, a few laps back. What was that? What was that about?
We had the spin. We had the spin down the hairpin. Yeah. Into the pits has also comes Niels Hunderhaeg in the fire car. He will relinquish the lead. His lead will be extinguished, as it were, going into the final corner. Jeffrey Ooms regains the lead then. We'll see whereabouts Hunderhaeg rejoins. I reckon the Reverend racing car and the the West Friese sim racing car should be able to leapfrog him, but we'll wait and see. Hunderhager still in his pit box. It should be about a 20 or so second pit stop time. Into the pits also comes Marco Schaffer as Reverend Racing again misses the chicane. And he pays for his sin with the West Friese car overtaking him.
Very good.
He's on fire now, isn't he? He's rolling. It's coming free flowing.
So we got a Van Human round and a big. Oh, and we got another DP round. Riley Thompson midway round the circuit. Seems to be quite a lot of damage to those two cars.
Well, Riley Racing, well, yeah, they were up to fourth. Well, they were up to fourth overall, but now they're not anymore. The Humes car getting by him. We'll see what happens to Riley Thompson. Oh, he had a spin on the exit of the long right-hander where Sebastian Vettel lost the lead back in 2011. Didn't hit anything, I don't think. He was able to turn the car back. Oh no, he did. Oh dear! What a bit of an awful spin turn. I think that rivals me in the Formula Renaults a few weeks ago.
That was a bad spin turn, I have to say. But I've seen worse. It's all right. You're off the hooks somewhat. Tom Van Humen has got. Yeah, he's got quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, he spun just literally on the corner fly. I imagine maybe the yellow flag put him off, and Klaus Peterson pretty much hit nose to nose, and the DP has come off worse, let's say.
It definitely will in a collision with the Ferrari, I would imagine. Yeah, Ferrari a much more solid object in general, I think, than the turn-up prototype. Robert Nürnberg then is in the number 18 Crash Panda Racing Audi. Currently he's fourth in class at the moment, going pretty well after starting 19th on the grid. Currently 16th overall, 2 laps down.
Yeah, just trying to do a bit of slower GTE traffic. Is he here?
Yeah, he's got.
That's the thing. The cars are quite close, aren't they? So you know, sometimes if you've got a driver that is quick in the GT3s compared to the GTEs, it will. Yeah, there is a bit of an overlap. So.
Oh, and a mistake by Nürnberg. The GTE car should, in theory, be faster, be able to go through, but.
Oh, we've got Von Borstel round at turn 1. He has come together with a DP of. So just trying to.
It was. No,
oh, wow,
you know what?
The DP was already round.
Rob Schofield was around. So he came through turn 1. Yeah, he came through turn 1, lost the rear, sort of clumsily gets it into the wall, and off goes Von Borstel. Yeah, synchronised, well, not quite synchronised spinning, but crashing at the same time, nearly crashed into each other, trying to do their respective rejoins onto the circuit. So, not the finest hour for Frank Von Borstel at the moment in the 117 car. Seems to put garage 17, team 1.
They were literally identical crashes, weren't they? Just watched it back on the replay. You know, both drivers just coming in a little bit too hot, and
except the Ferrari. Except the Ferrari didn't hit the wall.
Mm.
That was his only saving grace, I think, Von Borstel.
Yeah, back to live.
Not a great deal of really close fights going on out there, unfortunately, at the moment. What do we have there? We've got Audi versus Mercedes. Del Smears with a lot of damage, getting passed by Robert Nürnberg.
Are they teammates?
HSS Racing for Smears, and for Nürnberg, Trash Panda Racing. So it doesn't look like it.
The liveries look very, very similar, I have to say.
It's possible. Different team names though.
Running through the cars that are currently in the pits then. Riley Performance in the pits, probably a meatball flag after what happened with them. Juno back is still in the pits, has been in there now for 11 minutes, so problems for him as Riley Thompson finally gets going again. I don't know the rules in terms of fast repair, but yeah, he's just come back onto the track now with a clean bit of Bonnet, and then also still in the pits is just Brandon Juno and Franz Sam, who's out of the race. So just 2 cars in the pits at the moment. Everyone else still out on track.
There was a bit of a heavy hit on the wall there coming out the exit of the third chicane for Nuremberg, and it got some damage on the side, so that doesn't look like a phantom hit. It looks like it took a fair amount of wall there, so let's see if that affects him.
Nuremberg in 10th position at the moment. That bonnet's still pretty damaged from earlier on. Hasn't repaired itself in the pit stop either. The Mercedes. Sorry, I'm looking at De Brek, who's in 11th place. But yeah, Nuremberg in 10th. That damage that he picked up earlier, yeah, that Mercedes, especially to the side of the car as well, not looking too good. You can see his ETA SimSport teammate in front of Niels Hartmann still doing a pretty good job, leading the way in the GT3 class for now. So it's an ETA SimSport 1-2.
And they're leading the main category as well with the DPs. So successful run at the moment, but we've got a long way to go. We've got nearly we've got well over an hour and a half left.
Yeah, an hour and 38 minutes to go here.
I think the only thing that might just scupper this race is maybe a lack of close battles, but we might get these later on, because Alex, we've had several races in recent months where it's not looked like it's going to be a particularly close race, and then at the end had some real surprises.
Yeah, exactly. There may be some different strategies going on here that we don't fully understand yet. Of course, it's first time people opt in to do different sort of fuel stints and things like that, based on the length of time, and the fuel restrictions. It might not be just 3-4 tanks. It might be something a bit different. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it pans out.
Jeffrey Ooms actually there in the Ferrari, 132.1 that last time by. Pretty quick lap actually. That's his fastest one since for about 6 or 7 laps, Jeffrey Ooms, and the fastest since he's come into the pits. So he's absolutely flying out there, Adam.
Yeah, Jeffrey Ooms still doing a very good job in his second stint. He's 6 laps in, and he's only about half a second away from the personal best that he was doing earlier on in the race. I was just looking to see which teams have got multiple drivers in this race meeting today. I can tell you that VEC Sim Racing, the one with the damaged front end getting driven by Chris De Brek, has also got Michael Thomas Racing, another French driver. He'll be in the car, I presume, later on. SimSport, that's a car that's out of the race. I was just looking there. The Racing Fire team has got Niels Hunterhager and Dennis and Lauer. Those two will be racing for that team, and Tom Van Hooman, as we saw earlier, getting driven with David Costello. So for the most part, we have got single car entries, but yeah, we have got a few 2-car teams, 2 driver teams scattered about the field.
Going pretty well is Chris De Brek, actually, considering that damage that he's got. Frank von Borstel is still running, but he's now 1 lap behind Jeffrey Ooms as Ooms looms behind his car, and he pulls out from the slipstream, and he's going to put Frank von Borstel a lap down. I mean, he's lasted a bit longer than another famous Frank de Boer the last few weeks, Adam, and well, it appears like 50 minutes is longer than de Boer was at Selhurst Park.
I think anybody in this field could have done better. I don't know.
No points, no goals, do you mean?
No points, no goals, and no hope. They've got
bit of a disaster.
Yeah, it's meanwhile looking pretty good for the teams that we support up here in the commentary box. So
hey, I'm not saying anything. I think I said that to you last week. Although it wasn't going that well for us before the international break. When the last one came, we didn't want it to come, and then this one couldn't have come quick enough. As speaking of quick, Philip Sudbeck, ETA SimSport driver, the Daytona prototype number 32, goes past Jeffrey Ooms, and continues on his merry way. What is the advantage? 14.2 seconds, and that's a good one.
What's 6.2 seconds? He's lapped everybody up to the Daytona prototypes now, and Rob Schofield is a minute and 20 seconds away, so he too is in danger of getting lapped by our leader. The ETA SimSport car is ETA of winning this race is just under an hour and 35 minutes away. So if he keeps doing what he's doing, he'll be taking home round 2 of the season.
Alex, it's getting towards that section of the race where your mind starts to wander, and sometimes the driver's not fully paying attention. It's understandable with a 14-second lead, but what can you try and do to try to maintain that focus and not stack it into the wall, which, let's face it, is the main danger around this circuit? Yeah,
I mean, there's 2 ways of going about it, really. I mean, you know, some drivers will, if you've got a lead, you just want to maintain that lead, so they'll just check a few critical, sort of, you know, maybe their relative out of a few key corners and things like that, just to sort of keep them focused on what they're doing and making sure the pace is about right, you know, and just try not to sort of overdrive the car. And then others might go, you know, start just sort of attacking the clock a little bit and just trying to maintain a pace based on their lap times and things like that. Now, of course, you have to be a little bit careful of that, because you can sometimes start to overdrive to go a bit quicker and a bit quicker and a bit quicker, and you can easily end up in the wall there. So yeah, when I've got a nice comfortable lead like this, I tend to flip my relative onto like the last lap, and I just try and maintain a pace, you know. So I'm not trying to go faster or slower or anything like that. So and that kind of helps me stay focused.
What's happened?
Racing has just smashed it into the wall at the second chicane. Nearly hit the wall on the exit, and yeah, just lost the rear end. And yeah, I imagine that could be a black and orange flag for
Jesus.
Yeah, you're right, Sam. Yeah, that is.
Sorry, who was that? I'm just trying to get the replay.
The Reverend Racing car.
I need a number. Sorry, I only see names.
Number 14. Number 14.
Oh, thanks.
Big crash there, in all seriousness, and they're going to suffer with some damage now. You've got severe damage on the left front corner, and the rear wing's broken, and we saw that at Le Mans. Adam in our car was quite crippling in a straight line.
It'll be pretty good through the opening 2 sectors, I think, the Reverend Racing car. They're able to get it repaired, but yeah, on that back straight, they did seem to have a bit of an advantage over the Ferrari, so I wonder if that might balance itself out if they're able to get the car going again. But yeah, the work of the devil, that.
Oh dear. Reverend's end of the cloth. We're going to need one cloth to fix that one, I think. We need a massive hammer, I think.
They could do with a shroud, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, they might want to cover up the damage. That is true.
Into the pits comes
Audi leaving the pits. Brendan Juno is 14 laps down, by the way.
Yeah, Reverend Racing just coming into the pits now, so they could be in there for quite some time. Brendan Juno is only just leaving the pits. He's been in there for nearly 20 minutes. And yeah, he is a long way from getting anywhere back. 4 minutes behind the next car in front of the HSS Racing car of Michel Smears.
No fast repairs here, by the way. You probably have realised that at home by now. We're down to only... well, most of the drivers are still running.
Oh.
But several laps down, sorry.
Something's happened. It's some problem for the Schofield Racing team.
They're in the pits.
They're in the pits. I can't tell whether it's a scheduled and unscheduled stuff. Oh, they had a slowdown early on, that's what happened. But yeah, into the pits comes Rob Schofield now. 4-second stint. I'll give him that, only 13 laps.
Yeah, not particularly long stint, but they will have it all worked out, I'm sure, in terms of the fuel. Tyre strategy that they're going to need. Oh, wow! Ferrari absolutely flying past the Audi there, Frank von Borstel. Taking absolutely no care with the lap traffic at all there, Alex. That was pretty hairy through that second chicane there.
Yeah, straight through. No,
oh dear, what's happened
no questions asked.
Well, I think I want to take your attention, Alex, to Jeremy Hoppe in the HSS Racing number 37. He's stuck sideways in the pit lane. And I think he's had to... Can he tow or something?
Oh no, I think he's been serviced.
You want a replay, Adam?
No, I'm live. He's literally in his pit.
37?
Yeah, number 37.
Smears, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Michel Smears it is.
Yeah.
Earlier on, his tyres were spinning around like mad, but yeah, problems for him.
Yeah, doesn't look like there's going to be fixing.
Her, I would imagine.
Oh,
Gotta be a.
I mean,
Gotta be a.
that is. I don't really know. I mean, would that car be getting serviced at that angle?
No.
What is actually happening there? Is it some kind of
Yeah, I'm not sure.
stuck or what?
well, technically
fuel?
he's got all 4 wheels inside the pit box, but yeah.
He.
He's from Belgium, so it could be a he. Yeah.
Michelle with 2 L's and E.
You never know.
Well, maybe.
I need to think of an example.
Well, we need some clarification on that, then, please. Anyone in the chat that knows, that'll be useful. We don't want to get that wrong, really.
No, we don't want to get that wrong.
Apologies, I'm sorry, we shouldn't laugh either, but
No, but we're
clueless. We need to know.
We need one of the other clarification, don't we? That's the only thing in sim racing. Is half the time we don't know. We don't know. Really.
Oh, you're a woman. Yeah, 1 hour and a half to go here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Second round of pit stops also getting underway here. We've had the Daytona prototypes in, some of them for the second time. That's what happened in the first round. The DPs coming in first, and then the GTEs and GT3s following. So it won't be too long before we see the likes of Jeffrey Humes and Niels Hunderhager coming in for the second time. And
Hunderhager's just gone wide. He's going to lose a place here.
Hewitt.
Yeah, Mark Hewitt going through, and quite easy in the end. Just went wide, did Hunderhager, made a mistake, and that part of the course, so it's very easy to do, easy to overshoot that corner, and yeah, Hunderhager just he's got some rear damage. He's got that damage to the rear wing, and I think that might be what allowed Hewitt to get past so easily in the West Frisia sim racing car.
And so back to Smears. Smears, I think, has retired. The way that he pulled into that box, it was very much as though he was pulling into his garage, trying to mimic that. So I think that's that car's day over.
Yep. They were 14 laps down anyway, the HSS racing team. Don't think that's been such a successful outing for them, but always next time. Reverend Racing, meanwhile, spending an ungodly amount of time in the pits. Sorry, I'm really sorry, everybody. 3 laps down at the moment, but it doesn't look like massively serious damage, Alex. But I know we had similar damage at Le Mans, and it did take nearly 15 minutes, I think, to fix.
Well, yeah, it did, didn't it? So, who knows? I mean, that's basically a race ending amount of damage, isn't it? In something that's just 2.4 hours. So, yeah.
I mean, it was race ending for us in.
Yeah, it was really.
In 24 hours. So, yeah. Oh, hello. One of the DPs has just cut the course. That's Riley Thompson, completely disregarding the chicane at the back end of the circuit. That'll be a slowdown penalty. Thompson running in 17th place, actually 3 laps down, so not enjoying life out there, it doesn't look like at the moment. Lapping 32.7. What are the leaders doing in the same car? 30.4, so not horrible times, but they must have had some issues to be 3 laps down.
15 seconds a gap now between Sudbeck and Jaeger, as Riley Thompson again having issues getting into that final chicane. He hasn't got much downforce on the car.
In? Was it understeer, or did it try and break away from him a little bit?
He was fighting about with the wheel. I'm just going to double check that for you as Thompson went through the chicane. Yeah, he was fighting as if his life depended on it there, going through the final chicane of Riley Thompson. He's still going.
That's one of the main causes, Alex, of making mistakes at chicanes, isn't it? It's just that little bit of oversteer actually on the entry, which you've got to steer into, which then means you missed a corner.
Yeah. So easy. I think that's the thing with like any sort of street circuit, and here, you know, it's quite unique for iRacing. That you've got such a narrow window, you know, to get the turn in, get everything right. You know, the car has a little moment. It usually ends up in the wall.
Into the pits comes our 2 leaders, Sudbeck and Jaeger. Sudbeck had to go a bit more forward in his box, I say 2 leaders, 1 and 2 in class. Sudbeck at a 15-second lead, so he's not as if he's getting challenged, but yeah, the top 2 at the moment in the pit lane.
We've almost had the hour mark. Past the hour mark, should I say. Sudbeck, good pit stop from him. So, just behind Rob Schofield, actually. Schofield...
A lap. Just unlapped
down?
himself. Yeah, just unlapped himself.
He's now gone back onto the lead. Oh, no, he's not.
Oh!
He's not gone back onto the lead lap for long.
Maybe Philip Schofield was at the wheel.
I was just about to say that. But he is... whoever's at the wheel, that was an annoying mistake to make for him. Because he just... Oh, dear, no.
I'd like you to do a turn in the road using forward and reverse gears, please.
Well...
So that was a good 4-point turn or so, wasn't it?
I think this driving belongs on this morning rather than the TCV series.
Oh, he's a bit wide there, is Schofield. Yeah, we do thank everybody for joining us here on Apex Racing TV here on Sunday evening for the TSRC TV V-TEC 2.4-hour series of Grand Prix of Canada here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath, Alex Simpson, and Sam Fitzpatrick joining you. And yeah, very pleased to be bringing you the coverage from this series. I hope you're enjoying it at home.
Of course,
it's easy for me to say, isn't it?
Oh, as Schofield again nearly loses it in the hairpin.
And that's that example. Sorry, Adam, of the tyres just getting cooked, and then not really being able to rescue them. He may have to pit.
How long has he been outside? He's been only out the pits for 5 laps now. So Schofield doesn't want to come in the pits. Definitely not now.
Got to let it just come back to him a little bit. So,
you reckon it can?
No, yeah. You just need to give it a couple of laps, and the ambient temperature comes back down. So,
Ooms has spun. Well,
I will say that fair play to Mr. Arjuna Kankipati on the chat, because he's quite enjoying the puns, I think. So, fair play to you, good sir.
Well, yeah, Jeffrey
who's that
Ooms.
off? Someone off.
Ooms, the leader in the Ferraris, just had a spin. Easy for me to say. A problem for Marco Schaffer, Alex. He's just dropped down a position. Is that the person that spun?
Yeah.
Past, present, and future walked into a bar. The atmosphere was tense. Oh dear.
Don't worry, folks. You got another hour 22. Plus, you got the Club 73 Touring Car Championship as well later.
Break after as well. Just 15-minute break, I think.
I may have to drive in that. I think I might have used up all my puns by then. Ooms,
we can only work with what we've been dealt with. And thanks to the teams for giving us with some quality material. Jeffrey Ooms across the line.
Like when that time in the Gathering of Tweakers series where. I spent about an hour doing puns about cows for Mad Cow Racing. Puns about beef and steak and things.
It's all originated with boosted motorsport, so if you're going to blame anyone...
Yeah, I think I'm going to blame Andrew Whitehead, because we can on this channel. I'm sure I'll take it in good nature. But yeah, if it wasn't for them, we'd be the serious motor racing broadcasters that nobody wants.
The Ooms spin hasn't really done much. He's still leading, but we've got a good battle here. It's between two different classes. It's Schaffer versus Hartmann, Audi versus Ferrari, GT3 versus GTE.
Yeah, I think Hartmann might have a bit of damage on that car. I'm not sure when he picked it up, but I think it may have been in the past kind of 10 laps or so on the front of that car, and he's just started to drop back into his teammate as well. So the country in those GT3s trying to close in onto each other a little bit.
It's going to be frustrating for the Ferrari driver Michael Schaefer, because he has a quicker car, but he does have that little bit of damage, which kind of means he's struggling to get by the Audi, really. Or did have damage, it looks like it's disappeared now. Well,
damn those phantom hits! They get you every time.
It could well be. So. Could well be. But so why is he not being able to get by the Audi here, Alex?
Yeah,
he's in a quicker machine at the moment.
Well, we could have a bit more downforce on it. You know, that's how he might have set the car up. So any advantage he's got, he might have lost there. So hard to tell, really. It could just be. I mean, they are quite close on pace, and it could just be that you know, the likes of Niels on the lead in the GT3 is just bloody quick. You know, that's why he's struggling to get by.
Right there, and oh, he might be able to get through now, though. He's quite close, right in the slipstream of the R8. Audi goes a bit wide, might have put the course there actually. Alex might get a slowdown penalty.
Now's the opportunity, surely, into the hairpin.
Hairpin. Goes to the outside. Just needs to have a dive, I think. Oh no, Audi very late on the brakes as he made the corner. Yes, he has. Oh, was there a bit of contact?
Damage to the right rear of the Ferrari. Looks like the headlights have gone on the right rear of the Racing Community.de water car. This is allowing the Merc to close in a little bit of a Nürburgring.
What you got to remember as well is
on the brakes as well.
We're looking at ABS against non-ABS and traction control against non-traction control. So the GTE car is quicker, but it is actually harder machine to drive.
I suppose that'll affect the tyres over a long run as well. But you've got the leader in P3. Well,
yeah.
You've got the leading Mercedes, haven't you? So just behind them as well.
Yeah, leading Mercedes. Yeah, trying to get past the leading Audi with the Ferrari sandwiched in the middle.
Yeah, of course, but the GT3s are in the same class. So yeah, that's for sure. It's just the GT. It's the Ferrari that's in the different class. So.
Unfortunately,
I'm a little surprised they didn't just stick them all in one class together. Actually.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't get points for difficulty in this series, and yeah, with the lack of traction control and the ABS in the GTEs. As Nürburgring slices the wall or grates the wall on his way through.
Here comes Schaefer now, but he's on the outside.
He's very close. He's gone
through him.
That'll work.
It won't.
no!
He's hit the wall on the exit. Now the car's really damaged.
It's the corner, is the Ferrari.
Engage that lag button. I want one of those, please.
Is that an STK gaming
product?
We'll be retailing that soon. Let's figure out. I'll send a PM later. Figure out how we've done that.
This will encourage the Mercedes of Nürburgring anyway. As he tries to get through. Should we go on board, Alex? See what he sees.
Do it.
Take us through a lap on Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. That's if we don't get through already.
Yeah. Because we head into the final chicane. All the champions. Oh, he gets punters on behind. So,
I don't think that was retaliation because the Mercedes had nothing to do with that. But
we've got a slowdown now as well, unfortunately.
What on earth went on there?
Oh, I hate these slowdowns. They just seem to never go around here as well. So, right into the first turn. Down one more gear, usually for turn 2, very tight, and multiple lines you can take through there. I always like that sort of tight exit. And straighten the car up this distance into the first chicane. Very, very bumpy. You want to tap both curbs on the right and on the left. Get as close to the wall on the right as you can. Use as much of the circuit through this right-hander here. Not quite flat out. These GT3 cars into the left-right. This is where Button got the whip. Basically got the win against Vettel and that epic race that we talked about. And again, you kind of want to ride the curbs a little bit on the inside and get hard on the gas, avoiding the curbs so that you can get on the power and don't get any traction. Brake just before you get to the bridge for the slightly more open chicane. Use the curbs on the right. Some people take a little bit on the left as well. It's actually quite forgiving, so you can do that there. And then get yourself ready for the hairpin corner, one of the hardest braking points we have. You need to be as late on the brakes as possible. You need to get the apex just right. You want to come in slightly late so you can get a good exit out of here. Get onto power.
That was good.
Yeah, very good. So important to get a good exit here. Traction control obviously making a huge difference in the Mercedes GT3, and now I've got this long straight. Got plenty of time to think about this final chicane. Makes it far, far worse. If it just was on you, it'd be fine, I'm sure. But yeah, you've got to attack the first curb, and it just missed it, went wide there, and the Wall of Champions comes into play. So bit of a topsy-turvy lap there for the SimSport car there.
What a fantastic lap, Adam. We had a crash at the start of it, and then showed some great action through it.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I don't know whether it was a problem with of working out who was who for Marco Schaffer, but yeah, he did go flying into the back of the Mercedes going into the final chicane. He's had a few issues as well on that lap, the Ferrari.
He wasn't trying to pit, was he?
how long has the Ferrari been out though?
I wasn't trying to pit and miss these. That's one thing I can think of, but
Been out there for 18 laps. I think they have a few more laps in
they
them.
need
Last
more
time,
than they do an hour nearly, don't they? At least?
yeah, they do about 22, 23 laps in the last stint. The GT3s and GTEs. So, well, they should be in about 3 laps time. Jeff Williams is just on his 20th lap in his current stint. So, yeah, we'll see those pit stops. I was about to say them pit stops. We'll see those pit stops in a few laps time.
Them pit stops, DEM.
Oh, and Schaffer's spun again. Half spin this time, reversing on the track.
When it's not going well, it doesn't go well, does it? It rains, it pours.
Oh, into the wall goes a Daytona prototype. It's Schofield, just behind Schaffer. I just saw that out of the corner.
Oh, that's heavy damage as well. You can see it twitching around now. And the braking seems to be sort of pulling to the left.
Now, while I was in Scotland at the weekend, Mr. Woodhouse, I was able to insert into a conversation "smoothness is key," but
well, it is, and
it wasn't for Rob Schofield, unfortunately.
I will say at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, you can drive it smoothly if you like. You can drive it quite aggressively. Sometimes when I try and drive it quite smoothly because I know that the tyres can be destroyed by all these direction changes, and there's quite a lot of load, Alex, in the chicanes on these tyres.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, the drivers really attack, especially the final chicane. That's probably the corner that we take the most amount of speed through. Fair amount of braking going into that as well. So tyre gets punished through there.
So what's the official time at the moment then?
An hour and 13 minutes to go.
An hour and 13 then. So pretty much exactly half distance in this race. And the ETA Sim Sport car are 18 seconds clear at the front in the Daytona prototype category. Jeff Williams is absolute leagues away from West Frisia Sim Racing. And then you've got the battle that we saw earlier on, which has kind of been spoilt a little bit by the Mercedes getting hit. Niels Hartmann in the Audi versus the Mercedes of Mike Nürnberg. That's for the GT3 lead.
Also, we've got an issue for Michael Thomas in the VEC sim racing car. They've just made a driver swap. It was Chris Dubeck in that car. Michael Thomas has got in, and he's coming again on his in lap. So I was driving very slowly. So some kind of issue there for Michael Thomas, which is they were fighting for the lead for VEC sim racing 83, but that could be their race over.
Speeding, I think that is on the exit. Yeah.
Not a particularly good start to his stint for the Frenchman. Anyway, Michael Thomas.
I wonder if they might have not put enough fuel in, or something might have gone wrong in the pit stop.
Well, we are in Quebec, and of course that means the French drivers are going to do badly, doesn't it? Because that's just sod law. It's just how it works.
Oh yeah, Jacques Villeneuve. It never went right for him at all, did it?
Olivier Panis.
Yeah, Panis broke his legs. Yeah. Grosjean, I don't know what happened to him at this track, but
that probably still counts. So if you don't know what happened, it can't have been that good, can it? But yeah, no, it's one of those, isn't it, where the hometown drivers or drivers with any sort of connection to the circuit usually do quite badly. Jacques Villeneuve, did he win a NASCAR race here, or was that Road America?
Yeah,
where Danica Patrick
ran
over
over
a shoe?
This was the track with the shoe, just under the Dodge Dart Bridge. You'll be able to pick that one out. Just where Riley Thompson's going now. I've just been watching him the last few laps as he goes off through the chicane. He's been doing that quite a few times. Riley Thompson in the 56 DP.
It's into the wall in the last chicane. Completely.
Oh, the wall of champions.
Completely messed up the chicane. Went in deep and straight over the curb and smashes that nose. He won't have any steering damage, I imagine, but wow. Well, I think
time lost at least.
Yeah, every GTP car in the league now has issues. So the leading two, or ETA, have both got quite major damage. And of course, the other car that we were just looking at in the pits, lost a lot of time. So yeah, everyone's having issues.
Alex, it looks like he lost the rear on the way in and just couldn't save it.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get a replay up at the moment. I'm just sort of trying to find him, to be fair. We'll see exactly how it happened. Yeah, you're right. Just overcooked it, didn't he? Just the rear would just come around on him, and then just a passenger then, once the curb started to get involved, there was no amount of correcting it.
Okay, 1 hour 15 minutes gone here on Apex Racing TV. The 2.4 hours of Montreal, presented by the TSRC TV V-TEC series. Very pleased to have this series here on Apex Racing TV. Happy to have everybody watching with us here on Sunday evening, and Mike Nürnberg won't be so happy that he's gone into the Wall of Champions, but generally if you go into the Wall of Champions it means you're doing quite well, Adam, I think.
I think he's away just for a second.
Oh, is he? Oh,
but,
yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, exactly. You're in good company, aren't you, if you've been in there?
That's it.
It doesn't seem to be affecting him a great deal. I mean, last lap was a 134.9 and best 133.5. So, he was doing sort of mid 134s before as well. So it's not, you know, there may be some damage, but it's not crazy.
Underhager coming into the pits for the second time. The pit stop's just getting underway for the second time now in the GTEs and the GT3s. You can see that Ooms has already come in and has been put down to second, but it'll just be a matter of time, and it is. Yeah, he's back into the lead now.
Just
So
want to make a quick sort of statement, if that's all right, guys, because obviously this is the first time we've done the series, and want to give some drivers a little bit of feedback and things like that, and the league. And the league has supplied us with a paint pack, but it's all done as a decal, which is absolutely fine. But if the drivers are going to have iRacing sponsors on the car, it will still show those sponsors as well as their livery. And that's what we can see with a few cars out there today, is some of them are showing their liveries with all their sponsors on, but over the top you've got the iRacing sponsors as well. So if you don't want those sponsors to show up, you need to select none, so that we don't have any of this weirdness going on with multiple sponsors overlapping each other and things like that, because this just makes your liveries look a little bit messy.
I was just having a quick look at drivers who have crashed into the Wall of Champions, and it's quite a long list. Derek Warwick, Jacques Villeneuve twice, Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, Rubens Barrichello, Jenson Button, Ricardo Zonta, Juan Pablo Montoya, Kamui Kobayashi, Sebastian Vettel, Pastor Maldonado. Pretty much all of them champions in something, Adam.
Yeah, Maldonado GP2 champion.
As was
Zonta
was the Formula 3000 champion.
I'm surprised Jolyon Palmer's not on there. But as we bid farewell,
did he crash into it though?
I don't think so. But yeah, as we bid farewell to him. Oh, I'm still on.
Be nice, Adam. Be nice.
Kobayashi. I'll have a look at his Japanese racing career. Kamui Kobayashi. He may even be a world endurance racing champion for recently. I'll have a look for you. Just looking at his stats, he's won the GP2 Asia Series for Dams back in.
Oh, there you go.
2008-9, and won a few Formula Renault championships along the way back in 2005.
He's got. I mean, he's had a fantastic pedigree as Kamui Kobayashi. Just general, really, over his career, and continues to do so in the World Endurance Championship. I remember that absolutely astonishing lap that he did this season at Le Mans.
Well, that was a really good lap. Dennis N. Lauer has taken over the RacingCommunity.de Fire team in the second round of pit stops. We've got some more cars coming in as well. We've got the SimSport garage car Frank von Borstel coming in for the second time, and we've got Marco Schaffer finally coming in his Ferrari. So we've got two more of the GTEs coming in, two Ferraris.
Okay, right. So new drivers in, and it's now time for them to attack the circuit. And as Alex mentioned earlier on, drivers coming into the car pretty cold after the other drivers have completed a stint of over an hour. Can be quite difficult to get up to speed the first few laps.
It was a bit like us when we were doing. Sorry, talking in my mouthful. Sorry,
that was the wrong.
He's got his pizza now.
I'll throw that to Sam if you like. Sam, it's tough, isn't it, coming into the car when the other driver's got this far? You have to take care of it for one, don't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Personally, whenever I do an endurance race, I prefer to start just so if I do crash, I haven't wasted anyone else's time. But there's a bit of pressure, especially if you're high up in the standings.
Well, you've only wasted the 1 or 2 weeks of practice that they've done beforehand. So.
Yeah, I tried to forget that, but yeah, it's certainly not easy to get into the car after then you got to carry on their good work. You just need to make sure that you keep the position that they've already put you in.
I must admit that was one of my thoughts during Le Mans, Alex. Was after all this practice that we'd all put in and everything, we didn't get the car to you. It would have been a little bit of a waste, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, you did get the car to me. Unfortunately, people didn't want me in the car. It would appear so.
Well, the other drivers.
Yeah, no, it wasn't us.
Yeah, not you.
We were fine with it.
Yeah, the other drivers seemed to want to put that to bed straight away. It's like, oh crap, what's he doing in this race?
Especially the idiot who bump drafted you. I mean, I still can't comprehend that to this day. And they've not done the rerun yet either, have they? So we haven't even had another chance to make idiots of ourselves.
I'm sure we will.
Come on, iRacing, get that rerun of Le Mans done. I'm wondering if actually.
Oh, for the leader, around spin. Is he going to get hit? No, he doesn't. He was just getting past some back markers.
Well, this is where Ooms went off earlier, and he's the leader of the GTE, so it seems to be a caller that's catching out the quick guys.
Well, that's going to give Eric Jaeger some encouragement, isn't it, when he sees that relative coming down and down and down?
Down to 10 seconds from 16, so, you know.
Always fantastic, Alex, when you see that relative start to tick down. You wonder what's happened, you wonder how much damage they've got, and if any, and you wonder if they're still going to be there when you reach the corner and everything. Yeah,
and that's it. You know, that'll push him on a little bit actually, and he will be thinking, well, is he damaged, like you say? And Philip will just take it back a step, I think, especially when going through traffic. So, you know, if Eric can be bold through the traffic, there's opportunities to close back up now.
Well, Jaeger, realising that the spin realising Subek had spun would have given him a real shot in the arm.
Can he be the Meister of this race?
We'll find out. We've just got over an hour to go.
We will. Go back to your food. I must ask, anything good for tea then tonight, Adam? Anything good?
Pizza. It's pizza.
Pizza. Well, there we go. That is.
It's nothing better than Alex. It's not as good as Alex's roast dinner, I must admit.
You're redeemed. You're redeemed with the choice of food. But yeah, 9.8 seconds is now the gap. Be interesting to see what this lap time's like, because surely the tyres will be a little bit hot on the ETA Sim Sport car. So we'll see. It's got a little bit of traffic as well. That's the GTE leader, Jeffrey Ooms.
This is where he was coming through, I think, and around when he made his mistake. I have to say, I love Eric's livery that he's running out there. Missile Motorsports done a great job. So only because, you know, it's a bird bent over. What can I say?
Well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. If we were in any doubt whatsoever about why Alex has been focusing on that car, it's all been removed.
We're just lucky I ain't got the zoom in button. Check it out.
Oh dear. Anyway, on to lap 54 of the Canadian Grand Prix. And Philip Sudbeck, well, he's making sure he's not hitting any of the walls, the wall of champions and things like that. Well, I can't see that livery, so I must be unlucky. I don't know really what that is, but it must be not my day. I don't know. Let's have a look at the GT3 leader. That's Niels Hartmann in the Audi, the ETA Sim Sport car. Bit of damage to the front of the car, but not too much going on out there. The Audi of Robert Nürnberg is in. Wait a minute. No, he's not. He is. He's there. He's just in front of Mike Nürnberg. who is actually the car who's in second place. So Nürburgring in the Mercedes, which got clouted up the rear by Ferrari earlier on, and yeah, he needs to pursue that Audi with all he's got. Not the Audi that's directly in front of him, though. It's the Audi that's about 10 seconds clear. So he needs to get past. He's flashing the lights at Adam. He really wants to get through. Or Alex.
No, it's trying everything. No, sorry, I can sort. But yeah, good battle. Well, intriguing battle this is going on at the moment. There's a Marco Schaffer having to get by one of the Audis. That's Stefan Modder in the VEC Sim Racing Cup.
Yeah, you said Dennis Andlauer took over the Racing Community.de fire car. He's been doing a good job, lapping similar sort of times to what Niels Hunderhager was doing. So good work from Andlauer. That's the sort of job you want them to do, Sam, when you get into the car, and exactly what we were talking about making the stint a good one.
Yeah, definitely, and not putting it in the wall. The team. The teams with two drivers, kind of scattered all down the field at the moment, but of course at the front of that GT3 pack, Niels Hartmann seemingly doing the entire race. And yeah, it was Nürburgring picked up a bit of air damage, of course, with that spin at the bus stop, and since then I can imagine the two ETA cars just controlling the pace now and just taking home a 1-2 finish. I'm not sure if they're actually going to race against each other, and should be able to seal the top two positions in that GTP class.
ETA Sim Racing, or ETA Sim Sport, I should say, also 1 and 2 as Nürburgring brushes the wall. Second place, they're both 1 and 2 in the GT3 class. The ETA Sim Sport team. So very good job by all of them, represented in different divisions. Remember the days in the Neo Endurance series where I think we had Apex in the HPDs and we had Apex in the GT G3s. Am I right, Alex? I remember one.
I think we've only ever done it in the LMPs, to be honest.
I'm thinking of it quite a few seasons ago. Yeah.
Maybe one of the sort of. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's the honest answer.
Caught you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not ruling out any academy teams possibly, but yeah, ETA Sim Sport doing a very good job. We've got a big depth of drivers to choose from, and we can run you through the championship standings. We haven't done that yet. Most of these, I'm afraid, are just going to be Daytona prototypes because we've only got one page of them. The Just Win Baby team, who aren't here today, so they aren't going to be just winning. They're leading the points after just one race meeting. Second is Schofield Racing. They're having a bit of a mare. They'll be hoping that we don't broadcast another race, I don't think. Berlin Sim Sport in third. Road Warrior fourth. Missile Motorsport in fifth. And then you've got the two ETA Sim Sport cars in sixth and seventh. We've only got one of them racing today, and that is the car that is leading, ETA Sim Sport number 6. Total Downforce Racing in 8th, and then we've got the 4GT of the 49 Motorsport team. They're not here today either. And then we've got Cruise Control Motorsport in 10th. They're leading the Ferraris, and I don't think Cruise Control are here either. As into the pits for the third time today, with just under an hour to go, comes Philip Sudbeck. So time to get some new tyres and a bit of fuel added on, and we'll wait and see whether they are able to go to the end from here. Probably not. I think we might have about maybe 1 or 2 more stops for these guys.
Yeah, what is the fuel limit for the DP? I know on full fuel around the place like here, they'll probably go 45 minutes, but I'm not sure what the fuel limit is for the DP.
And definitely know the Ferraris are 60%. Don't know if it's the same for the Daytona prototypes. Would that correlate for how long? How long they're doing at the moment? Just 19 laps?
Yeah, 19 laps is about 30 minutes, isn't it? So yeah, probably about 60%. So yeah, 1 more stop after this. Potentially at Checkered, if he can stay out for a few more laps, he could take a slightly shorter stop. Actually, no, you just pitted as well, didn't you? So yeah, no advantage for Eric Jaeger there on the exact same strategy it seems.
Alex, the crunching of the numbers, getting the calculator out, running to that fuel number, is that something you enjoy doing?
Nope, not at all.
Well,
to be fair, I mean, usually got some sort of spreadsheet or something like that that'll do that. Will run the numbers and give us fuel and things like that based on you know, burn rates through testing and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the easiest way to do it, and then it'll give us alternative strategies and things like that that we can afford to take. So
no!
what's happened?
Oh no, it's all right. We're okay, I think.
Traffic, that marker, wasn't it?
It was Jaeger absolutely dive bombing Thompson into the hairpin. And,
Jaeger bombing.
But I thought it was the other way around, because on my screen they have the same livery. I don't have the paints working properly, I'm afraid. So it looked like they were identical cars, so I wasn't really sure who was who on that camera shot. So, but yeah, Jaeger. I thought he was. That was a Jaeger bomb if I've ever seen.
I've just seen what's happened to Brendan Yuno's car, and I can see why he's been in the pits for nearly a quarter of an hour. The whole rear of the Audi is completely destroyed, and the front as well. So you can see why he is now trundling around in 7th place. It almost looks like the Audi R8 version itself before it became a GT3 car.
Reverend Racing are out as well. They've retired completely. Yeah, Brendan Juno is absolutely. His car is absolutely trashed.
They've gone
the racing machine.
They've gone in peace, and they'll be back sooner or later.
One fell on silence there, didn't it?
Yeah, that was poor.
Sorry, I was looking at the the points actually. So that's why I felt a little bit silent.
Alex, what was the car you were admiring earlier? I was just gonna have a quick look myself.
The second place, yeah.
Mr. Jaeger.
Yeah.
Well, I'm with you. I'll just see if I've got the same paint as you. Is the paint you've got, Alex, blue and green?
Yeah, sort of.
Green, white, and yeah, a bit of blue. I'll have
You'll know on the side, it's got Missile Motorsport on the side with a woman bent over. Damn it.
Well, that's the zoom in button.
Yeah, she's fully clothed, it's fine. It doesn't, there's no regulation issues with iRacing, so no need to take a screenshot and send it to Nim.
If you send me a message, I'm not going to read it.
Well, so he would probably read the message and then he'd be quite happy, I imagine.
That's basically the message you sent me the other day when
I've just seen it. Oh, I've just loaded a terrible camera pack as well, dear me. Right, 51 minutes to go. And Philip Subbeck will be hoping that the cameras are firmly on him when he takes the checkered flag, if he's able to hold on. 16 seconds the gap. The only driver lapping in 28s at the moment. His personal best for the team of 28.4. That was set very early on, but he was doing a 28.9 on the last lap. Using those new tyres, if he took them, to good use.
Yeah, well, now's the time, isn't it? With just under an hour to go, if you're going to take some new tyres, you've got to get the best out of them, but you don't want to go crazy, you don't want to lose the tyres, you don't want to lose the best grip that they've got to offer before you set some fast lap times, and do now. Excuse me, the lead has kind of stayed pretty steady at 15.4 seconds. I wonder if and now it's just gone up by another 0.8 of a second, another 1 second actually, so it looks like Sudbeck's absolutely fine after his spin, Alex.
Yeah, no issues whatsoever. So 6 seconds, and again lapping comfortable, 1 second lap faster now. So very much under control. Tyres are fine.
And we saw Jeremy Hopper in the wars earlier on, the number 12 VEC sim racing car, and they're 5 laps down now. It really did cost him, didn't it? Some of that early battling.
Yeah, they were involved in a few incidents, I think. I can't remember which one was final blow, but yeah, 5 laps down. They got Stefan Mod's up ahead, but Mod's car actually looks relatively intact, so they're going to catch up in about their lap and race start, and then it was Jamie Hopp, but he's got Brendan Juno behind him, who's still up there with a very damaged car. So yeah, it's in Jeremy will probably just carry on lapping round and hope for any more retirements up ahead.
Does though, doesn't it? Stefan Mod, Adam, he started at the back of the class in 21st, but now up in 5th in class, 16th overall. The lap times aren't great, I will be honest. 36 is generally for him, but it is keeping a clean car and it's keeping it on the road, isn't it?
He's one of the quickest Frenchmen out there at the moment. Michael Thomas in the VEC sim racing car doing 34s. But apart from that, he can happily say that he's the second quickest Frenchman as Brendan Juno comes into the bits of the 4th time now. Probably to give that Audi some painkillers to get back going on the track, because like it's on its last legs. But yeah, Stefan Modder, it's not been the best race for the VEC sim racing team, because they've got Modder in 5th, and then they've got Hoppe in 6th in class, so 16th and 17th. And if Juno isn't returning to the track, they're going to become the two teams that are bringing up the rear. So despite all the stuff that's going on, Modder 36s, it's only about half a second off what Nuremberg's doing in front, so not too bad. Into the pits for the 4th time comes David Costello, which technically is the 3rd time, because you know what I mean. But yeah, into the pits for the 3rd time. He's going to make his 3rd stop now.
Contact, sorry guys, a little bit further back in the hairpin.
Oh yeah,
56 car, Thompson.
Riley Thompson again.
Had a messy race as Thompson. He started from 5th on the grid.
Him and Schofield have been the two cars to watch in terms of on-track action. Trying to get past the Mercedes here, Schofield, but
Schofield,
has to get on the anchors.
Schofield, though, is although it is good position now, isn't it? Of course, the earlier incident for Schofield, so he'll be on him in no time at all. He's quite a bit quicker. Well, he was quicker. It's funny, Thompson suddenly picked up the pace, Adam, and I'm not really sure where he's finding that pace from, because he certainly didn't have it at the beginning of the race.
Might be that damage, I don't know, that's fixed
itself. It was very slow in the first half an hour to an hour.
Did a 33 though on that last lap, didn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah, doing all of a sudden found the pace. 13 laps into a stint. He's one of the earliest drivers to come in.
Although the leader's doing the 29, so maybe I was right in the first place. Maybe Schofield's struggling more than what we thought.
I was looking in amongst the times for the GTEs, so if he was in a GTE battle, the 33s wouldn't be too bad. But unfortunately, he's racing Daytona prototype, so quite a few seconds quicker. In fact, Eric Jaeger did a 29.8 on that last lap, which was the quickest driver in the entire field, as he tries to lower the gap to Philip Sudbeck, which currently stands around 16.3 seconds.
GT3 leader Nils Hartmann, 34.4 on that lap in the number 097 Audi. But he's 3 laps down, so yeah, that tells you just how they're losing about 4 seconds a lap to the Daytona prototypes. But still a very good effort, 'cause it's a long. We've just reached pretty much Grand Prix distance, Alex, in terms of time at least, and to be only 3 laps down really isn't too bad in a car that's 3 or 4 seconds a lap slower.
No, not at all. Doing well. A good. I mean, actually, when you look at the field, we talked about it spreading apart and things like that, but there's still quite a few close little battles out there, right? You know. So it's not over and done with yet. People are still certainly in range. So in all, I think everybody's drove rather well tonight.
Rob's driving quite slowly all of a sudden. He was right on the tail of the car ahead of the Total Downforce racing car, Riley Thompson. He just had a P-so corner, seems to be back up to pace and across the grass, and he kept the rear in check and go sliding into their wall. But yeah, I wonder if Schofield's just had a bit of an issue, maybe picked up a slow down, but certainly that attack he was mounting on Riley Thompson has now just evaporated.
Car's definitely past its best. It's probably resembling similar to the Ferrari 488 that we were driving at Le Mans towards the very end. We're having to do everything possible to keep it at similar speeds to the cars in front. And yeah, Rob Schofield, he's got to have that car for 44 minutes. He's coming into the pit lane now. I've got to scroll down the timing screen. See how many laps he's done. He's done 15 laps, so I think that's just a bit below what you do in a full run. He's probably the tyres have probably had it, I'm guessing, Alex, and he's going to get some fresh rubber to get him through the final 3/4 of an hour.
Yeah, will he make it that 3/4 an hour? That's just about on the bubble, isn't it? I think that's probably what they've done with the fuel on purpose, you know. So we'll have to wait and see. But I would think he wouldn't have come in any earlier than he needed to.
Looks like they're changing tyres, I think. A bit of damage is getting repaired. We'll see how long his pit stop is. It's pretty standard, and away he goes. Bit of optional repairs. In fact, the car looks pretty, almost actually brand new, Alex. That makes me wonder if we actually do have a fast repair in this series.
Yeah.
Car looks pristine.
Yep. Possibly. I mean, I would have thought he'd have already taken it, though, you know? 'Cause there's been little bumps and bashes here, there and everywhere, so... But maybe not.
Is it possible to have unlimited fast repairs?
Well, yes, true.
Well, according to the info, we do have no fast repairs. So
okay.
That's very odd. Usually the DP does kind of make some sense with their damage. It's not... well, actually I was about to say it's not a broken car when it comes to damage. It is a completely broken car when it comes to damage with the main glitches and the... all the time penalties that they didn't consider whilst fixing the car. But yeah, it is a bit odd that we've seen that car come out completely new. We'll see if his lap times improve quickly or not.
By the GTE leader there, Rob Schofield, with his, well, looks like to be a new car. There is an Audi behind. I can't tell whether it's Juno or not, but that Audi looks pretty clean as well. So as Schofield leapfrogs over the curbs, that's probably going to be a slowdown. Indeed it is. So hasn't had the opportunity to test out his new, what is seemingly new car.
It's Robert Nürnberg goes in 14th.
Sorry, Schofield was doing a slowdown, and then once it had gone, he moved over to the racing line and nearly got
battered by the leader.
Yeah.
The leader came through and absolutely nearly whacked him. So quite lucky there, Schofield. As was Philip Sudbeck as well, we have to say. Looking at the 4X racing car, Alex, 058 Corvette Daytona prototype. They've made their way up to 7th place and kept it seemingly out of trouble. No real damage accrued, so all in all a reasonably successful outing for them in the end.
Sorry, I missed the car number that you said there.
Oh, the 58 car.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
058.
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to bring them up on screen at the same time. Yeah, exactly. Had the problem started from the back and been reasonable. I mean, having a look at sort of the pace and things like that. I think for personal pride, he would have still much preferred to have been ahead of all of the GTEs. But yeah, these things happen, don't they? The car looks fine though. You know, another one that looks pristine out there. Adam, if you had to sort of pick a driver of the day or anyone at the moment, who might it be? Well, actually, I'll throw that question to Sam.
I think Philip Sudbeck. Actually, Ben think probably Jeffrey Goons, to be fair. He's 1 minute and 5 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. We did see that one on his own which he was very lucky to get away unscathed, but he's been really good so far as Jeff Williams. Hopefully that isn't a commentator curse and he's not going to fit into the wall right now, but yeah, if he would, this would be a very well-deserved victory if he was to finish this race off.
Yeah, we do the commentary cursing so well here, so
Yeah.
but yeah, no issues at the moment. But yeah, I think I'd probably agree with you there. Definitely the most dominant in all the classes.
Yeah, Jeffrey Ooms' lead is over a minute to the next car, which is the West Friday Racing of Mark Hewitt. Then it's Amlauer in third, so the top three Ferraris there. Not too far away, Amlauer from Hewitt, only 8.4 seconds away. So there's a major mistake for the Benelux driver. Then Amlauer could be with him in the closing stages. But yeah, I think I'd probably incline to agree on Jeffrey Ooms, Sudbeck as well. They probably made the same amount of small errors during the race, but yeah, he remains unchallenged and has lapped everyone up to second place. Eric Jaeger, who's 13 seconds behind, who lapped almost a second quicker on that last lap. We're 11 laps into this stint. We're about to get pit stops in the GTEs in a moment. Jeffrey Ooms is on his 20th lap of the stint. Now we usually get about 22, 23 laps in those cars, and then they come in. So Jeffrey Ooms will be in for his third pit stop in the not too distant future. Same for the GT3s that are currently getting led by Niels Hartmann and Mike Nürnberg. 6 seconds between them, and lapping pretty much exactly the same times. Hartmann and Nürnberg doing 34.4s on that last lap.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to talk and just realised I was muted. Yeah, I think GTs is not going to be a straightforward full tank, is it, for them? They're actually going to be able to put in slightly less, so a bit of strategy calculation is going to be needed for those guys for this stop, but it's still pretty close, I would think, to a full tank.
If you had to pick a stint of a race to do, Alex, obviously with us at Le Mans you had the middle to late portions of the race. Is that the kind of area which you like doing, or do you like having to start?
I always seem to get given the latter stints. It's not really through choice.
You're a safe pair of hands. Yeah.
I think if much like Sam said, I think if you have the pick of what you want to do, I definitely would prefer to do the first stint, because it's sort of in the pack at the start. Everybody's a little bit tentative, and the pace is a little bit lower, and you can sort of pick up a few places here and there and settle into a rhythm, pull away or whatnot. But when there's definitely a bit of pressure when you're second man into the car, because got to get up to pace very quickly. Can't afford to make any silly mistakes. So yeah, but with like the Le Mans, for example, yeah, I really didn't mind the stint that we were doing. That worked quite nicely. And actually, when you give me the car, there's no pressure at that point either. So it's just all unfortunate how it turned out. So yeah, to sum up, I don't care.
We're relaxed on Apex Racing TV. You can tell by that. 36 minutes to go then, just over half an hour left in this second race meeting of the season in the TSRC TV V-TEC series. This is the 2.4-hour series, the Grand Prix of Canada. Apex Racing TV, Adam Bath, Alex Simpson, Andrew Woodhouse, Sam Fitzpatrick, all with you in the commentary box. We've got the Club 73 Touring Car Championship coming up when we are done here. Off to another famous track, Monza. So you may as well stick around for the evening. Get some grub and join us for that one. Yeah, that should be another fun race meeting, especially with the Kias, the Jettas, and the Mustangs as well.
And so Riley Thompson's just got out of the pits ahead of Rob Schofield, and the difference was that because Schofield, he still took that damage, pushing the car quite hard, as we just saw that. He took 9 seconds off the cars, I think, as last stop, so he's just lost out in that battle, but Schofield could potentially battle Riley Thompson later on in the race.
Am I correct in saying that you know the Daytona prototype cars pretty well, Sam?
Yeah, very well. I got third in the official IMSA series last season. So yeah, it's I thoroughly enjoy driving.
What's the car handling like when the tyres are past their best? Do you really struggle to turn the car into the corners?
It's not too badly. It's when the rears go that's very difficult. Like a few weeks ago, of course, it was the World Cup qualifiers, and around Monza, when the rears go there, that's not easy. But when the fronts go, you can't just go and manage the car, take a little bit less entry speed, and yeah, it's not too bad on the worn-out tyres. And I doubt these drivers are doing more than half an hour on these tyres, because the tyres get changed at the same time as the fuel. So I doubt tyre wear is really much of an issue.
Nils Hartmann in the GT3s, excuse me. He is in from the lead, which he hands over to Mike Nurnberg. Also in the pits, Michael Thomas. However, he has been in there now for quite some time. He's been in the pit box for over a minute. Hartmann coming out the pits in second place, the 097 car, and yeah, remains second in class, ninth overall. So not too much time lost for him, and he'll be on his way. Got to find him on my timing screen so I can actually see him. There he is. He's just going through the right-hander. Can catch a few drivers out that one. Alex, it is very, very dusty and dirty offline, and there is no grip out there, so if you do find yourself out there, you're probably going to end up in that Armco barrier.
Yeah, that's the thing, as these endurance races go on, you know, the marbles build up on the outside there, and yeah, very easy to make a mistake. It's got Dennis coming in 701 Racing Community.de fire car, and yeah, so pit stop starting to happen as well. We saw our leader just come in a lap ago.
Hewitt in, and Nuremberg in the Audi. It looks like he's completed his stop actually. Nuremberg, he's on his way. That was a 42-second stop, so probably taking a bit of time to get some repairs done. Dennis and Lauer in, yeah, as Alex was saying, in the Fire Ferrari, and Mark Hewitt in the West Breischer Sim Racing car. It's a shame that the Reverend team weren't able to complete the race, because they were having a fantastic duel with Hewitt at the time, but yeah, that is sadly no more. And then Hewitt coming out the pits in second place in the Ferraris. He remains over a minute behind our leader Jeffrey Ooms, with a minute to go and 6 seconds ahead of the Fire Ferrari, the Racing Community.de fire car. Dennis.
Oh, crash! Someone's over.
Oh, that's yeah.
Big one.
Langer over. Into the hairpin. See exactly who else was involved. Maybe take us back through it. Adam, I'll bring a replay up.
Just trying to find it. Very damaged car of Uwe Langer. Oh dear, it's the damaged car of Juno, surely. Yeah, it is Brendan Juno. Slow. He's offline, going into the hairpin. The Ferrari turns in, and I think that's your Esteban Gutierrez. Whoa, what was that moment? Out of nowhere, and yeah, the Ferrari of Uwe Langer flipping over. Stefan Schlascher, our race director, has taken ruthless action and has shown Brenton Juno the black flag. So Juno's racing will be done for the day. Or either that, or he's got to come in for a penalty.
Well, it did look a bit cynical, didn't it? Uwe Langer.
I don't know, I think he just got out of the way. You know, he was trying to, but just got it all wrong. Didn't expect all three cars to come through. So
it did look like the Ferrari was coming past, though, Alex, and it looked like then he accelerated and drove into the middle of the racing line. You'll have to have a look at it again. I'm only calling it how I see it. I would appreciate your input on that one, actually, to what you think.
Yeah, I'll defer to your judgment this time, because unfortunately I can't. I've lost the replay.
Well, the race director obviously seems to take a dim view of it, so.
Yeah.
Stefan Slasher, as we've said, but slashing the number of cars out there on the track as well at the moment. Sorry, Sam, what was that, mate?
Yeah, so yeah, Ray Thompson just recovering from a spin oh wow, he locked the rear brakes and yeah, was in a bit of a precarious position for a minute there, but managed to get back going. But
Oh! I could hear someone into the wall. Unfortunately, I couldn't see it. Who was that?
It was
Was it Michael Thomas?
I think it was the Mercedes of Michael Thomas. Yeah, I've just had a look back, and that looks like the only logical car that could have done that.
Only a tiny clip of the wall, though, mate. I don't think there'd be any damage there. Well, any additional damage to the Frenchman's Mercedes. I mean, all sorts of bother out there, though, it looks like. Brendan Juno's been sent to the corner to face the wall, Adam, I think.
Gone up to his room.
There'll be no ice cream for him.
I don't think so.
He's been put on ice by the race director. It was quite a lot of laps down though as well. You've got to look at it that way. He was 21 laps down. He wasn't really going to get much further in the race, even if he had stayed out.
I wonder if there's a similar rule to the one in the BSRTC where you get some points for getting the car to the end, but
not sure. I wonder. I mean, how does it? Does it literally work? You know, in WEC, does it literally work as in drivers get points if they finish, or do they have to have completed a certain number of laps? Is there a classification rule or of some kind? Or
I will check for you now. I'll have a look through the WEC regulations for you.
All right, there we go.
First place gets, apart from Le Mans, first place gets 25. It's your standard F1 point system. But beyond 10th place, you get 0.5 points. 1 point at Le Mans will be awarded to any car finishing in the overall classification.
Oh, okay. So you do get a bit of points for finishing.
Yeah, I think classification is 70% in the WEC. I think Neo replicates it, I think, about 70%.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think I'll do that many laps.
That's a good series as well. The Neo series, the participation in that. I'm sure this series as well could reach that. Given the next few race meetings, like I said, this is a one-off event for now here on Apex Racing TV. Not sure whether we'll have this series back. We hope they will have us back. You know, the more the merrier. Usually for us, you know, we just enjoy covering racing. It doesn't really matter what it is or who's in it. We could even do horse racing, Adam, if somebody asked us. I don't know.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
We could do more puns that way, I think.
Oh. Tell you what, we're so used to doing the quick races in the BSRTC. We probably do greyhound racing.
Well,
let's get Alex open to the idea of that. Get an Apex Racing TV, Apex Racing UK greyhound team going.
Might be more intelligent than a couple of the drivers.
Into the pit. Comes Philip Subbeck. We're not mentioning any names. I think we'll get told off even more. Subbeck
not mentioning anything.
I know. I was telling myself that. Into the pits comes Eric Jaeger.
As well. It could have been me, for all you know. Jaeger in the pits then. For his second shot of fuel. I hope the fuel doesn't go anywhere near where I think it's going to go, but I can't see the livery, so I'm hoping that fuel cap isn't strategically placed.
Oh, into the liver of the car, you could say.
I don't know if you can confirm or deny that, Adam. I'm not sure.
Away goes Subbeck, 16.4. Very quick stop by Eric Jaeger, 15.2.
Should get to the end with that. Or
yeah, you should be able to get to the end. I know that I've taken more and been able to make it home. So yeah, Jaeger did. Jaeger.
Yeah, are we talking about Jaeger here? Are we talking?
Yeah, we're talking about Jaeger. Yeah, he's filled the car up and he's away. Look what happens when Alex is away.
I know, right? We're so fired again. As speaking of fired, though, Missile Motorsports. Okay, there we go. The Rocket Ben, as it were, second place, and 15. Well, they were 15 seconds down. That's obviously more with the pit stop, but there'll be another stop for the ETA Sim Sport car. Philip Subbeck has been in it for the entire duration. He's done 77 laps. And that is a Grand Prix distance around the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Well, it's just over, isn't it? 70 laps, isn't it, normally?
Yeah, just about 70 laps Grand Prix distance here.
But look at that, nice driving through the chicane, avoids the curbs, doesn't want to put the car under any undue stress, or indeed the driver under any undue stress also.
Seeing how much the NASCAR drivers did around here. The NASCAR series, back when it used to race here, was 74 laps, so we've done even more than that. More than 200 miles.
Fairly long races were even the nationwide series races. I'm actually quite disappointed that I don't think they've ever done a cup race here. I think it'd be a great circuit to add to the cup calendar, get a race north of the border.
We saw for the first time as well in NASCAR this circuit, the NASCAR's using wet tyres and a windscreen wiper as well back in 2008.
Oh, that's right, I do remember that. Was that when Villeneuve had that bright yellow Dollar General car?
So, yeah, I'll have a look. The 2008 race won by Ron Fellows. He's still going.
Oh, Ronnie Fellows, bloody hell.
At 58 years old. Just having a look back at the race. The Napa Auto Parts race, the first NASCAR race in history to be run in the rain, as cars are fitted with rain tyres and windscreen wipers. Despite this, the race was eventually red flagged and was soon called after 48 laps. It wouldn't surprise me that Ron Fellows probably won the race when a caution came out and everyone else pitted and he stayed out, or something like that. But we had some pretty good drivers in there. We had Patrick Carpentier, Marcus Ambrose, Ron Hornaday, Boris Said, Carl Edwards, Jason Leffler, the late Jason Leffler, Greg Biffle, Tim Boyer, Steve Wallace. Yeah, that was quite a while ago. That was nearly 10 years ago now.
A while ago, that, yeah. And but yeah, I do honestly think NASCAR should consider a race in Canada. It'd only be a good thing for them.
I haven't been there since 2012. Now, the NASCAR Nationwide Series race at Road America, they race at the Glen, and they also race at Mid-Ohio now.
The Cup Series is going to Charlotte, aren't they?
Charlotte Road.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so...
They've redone that road course there, though, haven't they?
Yeah, they've redone the road course, and I think I saw a video on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Twitter the other day. They've added a chicane on the front straight as well, to make it even more like a road course. But as usual, the overall people have voiced their opinion on a road course around Charlotte, saying how much they want to keep the night race in the chase. But I want a road course, so
Adam's won at Charlotte Road.
I've won at Charlotte Road, yeah. I wonder if they'll put the new configuration on the iRacing service.
I think they should. Yeah, from what it looks like, it looked quite a nice track. They've changed that quite a bit. Better runoff areas, better defined circuit as well. It was a little bit dodgy in terms of actually finding out where the circuit was in places, Adam, especially at night.
Dear me. I remember doing that in I can't remember what series it was.
No curbs to speak of even, was there?
I think I did it I think it was one of the first racetracks I went to on iRacing when I had the MX-5, as Sudbeck is nearly running into the back of the Audi there of Jeremy Hopp.
Needs to be careful, really. Sudbeck now. Not got long to go, he's got just over 20 minutes, doesn't want to do anything stupid. Already had a spin.
If he went offline
and make it to the end.
If he went offline at Charlotte Road in the Mazda, you're really done for. I do remember that.
I think some drivers even got lost once they went offline because they couldn't work out where. Oh wow!
You would end up doing a Ross McCormack and not being able to get through the gate.
Rob Schofield. Well, the gate was hit a few times as well in the club series as well. Rob Schofield brushed the wall at the second chicane and very nearly took Sudbeck with him.
Just behind him now, I think that's him getting put another lap down. He's on lap 75, Schofield, and Sudbeck is on laps 80, so he is quite a few laps down now, Schofield, in the grand scheme of things. He's only in 11th place, so it shows you the amount of distance that Sudbeck has gained on the rest of the field.
Yeah, he is now about 20 seconds ahead of Riley Thompson in the Total Downforce Racing 56 car. Got rid of him.
Credit must go out to Miss Motorsports because they're still relatively keep taking the fight to for Sudbeck. The gap may be 17 seconds, but just on this last lap, Jaeger took 8/10 out of Sudbeck. I know he was lapping the Schofield car, but yeah, still doing a pretty good job. 5th visit to the pits for total downforce. Riley Thompson in yet again after 10 laps on this current stint. Might just be putting the last bit of fuel in to get him to the end of the race. Maybe a miscalculation. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
Well, Alex has returned, and I think total downforce, I think they need more of it. Don't think total's enough.
No, it does appear to be that way, doesn't it?
5 laps down. Have you seen anything interesting? I know you've been back for a few minutes. We haven't managed to get you in there, but I didn't see anything interesting going out on the circuit.
No, not really. I mean, it's just people working their way through the traffic now, managing the gaps to their competitors. As we usually get towards the close of these sort of endurance races. So, I am happy that the the DPs are still very, very close. One mistake and it's back on again. So. I think the others just seem pretty separated apart now, I'm afraid.
Just to digress a little bit then, while we're at it, Alex. Obviously, big news coming out of Formula 1 today, in that Jolyon Palmer out at Renault, Carlos Sainz in for the next race at Kota. Renault obviously need 2-point scoring drivers regularly. They've made absolutely no secret of that. This season. Sainz, do you think he can go in that car, and do you think he can do it instantly? We've seen Pierre Gasly be successful pretty early on.
Honestly, I'm going to say no, because I just don't think the Renault's that good.
Do you think he can be on the pace of Nico Hülkenberg?
I think he will be on the pace with Hülkenberg, there or thereabouts. Hülkenberg is a hell of a driver, and he's been underrated for years, in my opinion. Yeah, and I think Sainz is going to have... Sainz is a good driver as well, but I think he's going to have a tough job keeping up with... as
the Hulk.
Eric nearly goes into the wall there. His livery getting bashed up. But yeah, I think he's going to have a bit of difficulties beating
he did hit the wall.
Yeah, beating him, so...
Hit the outside.
We'll see, I think, on that one. It would be good to see him do that. And there's been some times that Renault car's been really quick, and then I guarantee he'll drag it home for some points. But he's better than Palmer though, so it was hands down. It was hands down the right decision.
It'd be an easy one, I reckon. I reckon most F1 drivers could have probably got a bit closer to Hülkenberg. That's just the brutal truth. I don't dislike Jolyon Palmer. In fact, I think he's quite a nice bloke, but. I did post a tweet earlier on, Adam, saying that maybe Jolyon Palmer, maybe think about British touring cars, because I reckon it could be somewhere for a driver who's kind of been a little bit run down in the media to maybe resurge his career, to reinvent himself a bit.
Seems the natural progression if your F1 career goes a bit pear-shaped to go off to WEC. Thought that like with Will Stevens. Formula E maybe as well. We saw Sam Bird after. I don't know if he's still.
But their season's pretty much starting. However, Formula E have not shown any shyness in terms of replacing drivers mid-season before. So
I'll just ask the Andretti team about that one.
Jacques Villeneuve.
I think Jacques Villeneuve doesn't give anything a full go. I remember him doing like about 3 or 4 races in V8 supercars a few years ago before just throwing in the towel after that.
Gets bored, I think. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
But either Formula E, WEC. These are 2 avenues that could open up for him. To back up your point on British touring cars, most of the tracks on that calendar are owned by his dad, I think. So, don't know if that would help at all.
It definitely help.
He owns Brands, he owns Alton, he owns Snetterton.
It's whether...
Yeah.
I mean, it's whether any team's got a car available for him. But I think... You know what? I think he's a clever... I do think he's a clever driver, Palmer.
In GP2.
In GP2, he was known for winning races with his head and being extremely smart. Touring cars could, I almost think he could, Alex, maybe be a little bit like a Dave Baker if he was in like the British Touring Car Championship.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know,
Because he wouldn't have to overdrive the car like he's doing in Formula 1 at the minute, because he's just not quite there.
Yeah, that regular consistency that, you know, might get him there at the end of the season sort of thing.
Because he's a GP2 champion. You know, as much as the other, you know, obviously we know how good Ash Sutton is, we know how good the likes of Plato and Turkington and Neil and Shedden are. But having a GP2 champion in the British Touring Car Championship, for me, Adam, would be, you know, a calibre of driver that we've not seen probably since, maybe since
Mansell or
someone like Marquini or Mansell, yeah.
Single-seater turned touring car driver. I'm trying to think of.
I mean, Johnny Herbert did a bit, didn't he?
Tell you what, I think Andy, after reading Andy Prio's book 10 years ago, dear me, I remember reading his autobiography. He went from single-seaters to the British Touring Car Championship, and obviously went on to become a four-time champion, if you include the European title.
The World Touring Car Championship, yeah.
Yeah, so
now he's
it's not
heading
unheard
up
of.
Ford's GT program.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job, and his son Seb Prio did well in the Ginetta Juniors this season. I don't remember where he finished in that championship, but one to watch as well for the future.
Pretty well. Just a quick last question on F1 before we focus on last 10-15 minutes of the race is obviously there was a story coming out as well that Honda are wanting Pierre Gasly to go back to Japan to finish the Super Formula season over there, because he's only half a point, I think, behind in the championship is what they were saying. So Toro Rosso may need another driver for Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah, because Kvyat's coming back. He's back for the rest of the season as well.
So they effectively need two drivers, because one's buggering off, and the other one is potentially, like I said, because of Honda engines next season at Toro Rosso. If Honda say that they want Gasly to go to Japan again, then he's going to have to go to Japan, isn't he?
Kvyat's definitely getting told to leave at the end of the season, isn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I would imagine with Sainz going, that's probably not a guarantee.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Who knows? Have they got any other young drivers coming up in their program?
Unless they want a Japanese driver in there, Honda, maybe Matsushita, something like that.
Yeah, I was about to say Matsushita for Colin for the rest of the season, because he's not really pricing for anything in GP2, I think. So they may as well just give him a couple of races. I think he's Honda's one young driver. I don't really know of any other.
He's pretty good though. I mean, he's decent from what I've seen.
Although doesn't he have a super license?
He doesn't have a super license,
no,
and that's the thing.
issue.
But Sebastian Buemi does have one and would easily get one again. Some people were mentioning the commentators on Sky were even mentioning Jean-Eric Vergne, but I don't know if that ship sailed in terms of in relation to Red Bull. I don't know what the thing is there. Mitchell de Jong might have some calls to make on his phone with Helmut Marko. You never know. Stranger things have happened.
Lando Norris / Neil Verhagen.
Some people were actually saying because of the Honda connection that it's been floated that Jenson Button maybe comes in for a race.
Oh, I was reading an article today in the Telegraph. Other newspapers are available, and this doesn't represent anything, I think. But yeah, Jenson Button speaking, saying that it was until this season where he got to fill in for Alonso at the Indy 5 when he was at the Indy 500, how much he missed racing in the sport, because he said he didn't enjoy the 2016 season.
He says he really enjoyed racing the cars, I think, didn't he? He really enjoyed driving the cars, and he said he would have loved to do so at Suzuka. Because it's a fast track, it's a flowing track, and it's one that he's won before at. I mean, I don't know whether he'd turn down a chance to... If somebody offered him, I get the impression that if someone offered him a seat, he may still take it.
One of the points he did mention, though, was...
It's difficult, isn't it?
If you have the success for a few years, like you had from 2009 to 2012, and then for it to all go away again, it is a bit energy sapping, really.
Buemi, I think, is maybe a good decision for everybody involved, because he knows the Red Bull program. He's been with Toro Rosso before. Alex, we've spoken about Buemi before, and he's rated highly by pretty much everybody, isn't he? The only issue is, would Honda... Well, I suppose Honda don't have anything to do with Toro Rosso this season, so they're not going to really worry about a Toyota driver going in the car, are they?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Not for a couple of races. I think it'd be fine as a filler, and maybe a good call as well.
I don't know if it's just... I don't actually know how many rounds Gasly has left to complete in Japan. It may just be the one.
Yeah, I think it's just one meeting.
But
see.
yeah, they need to find some kind of solution. Robert Kubica has been mentioned, but Robert Kubica has been linked with
Williams,
with everything, hasn't he? Recently.
Doing a test at Hungary, I think.
Someone a chance. I mean, you know, maybe they could have done a swap with Sirotkin, maybe, and let him do it. But who knows? Right then, we've got 10 minutes left of this race here in the 2.4 hours of Montreal. It's Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Woodhouse, Adam Bath, Sam Fitzpatrick, and Alex Simpson for Apex Racing TV. Got a lead of 20 seconds now for the ETA Sim Sport 6 car, number 32. Philip Sudbeck has done the entire race, Adam, and looking extremely good. He's had that one moment, he's had that one spin. But apart from that, it's been pretty much easy going for him.
Yeah, it hasn't really broke a sweat since then, I don't think. 129.8 last time around. Hasn't really lost any of his edge so far. So, did a fantastic job leading the way. The ETA Sim Sport number 6 car helped to propel them at the championship because they're not sitting at the front of the Daytona prototypes after round 1 at Daytona. They may have had a bit of issues.
They're in
that
6th
opening
position.
race. Yeah, 6th position in the standings, and with quite a few of the teams in front of them not being here today, or the rest of them having issues, yeah, we could see them leap up the table. And yeah, we're here for another race. We're here for another broadcast on Apex Racing TV. We'll see how they can progress.
Yeah, they're only 10 points.
Yeah, it's only round 1
off of the championship lead, so they'll get all of those back really today.
We've got a battle brewing in the GT3s for 4th and 5th between Stefan Mod and Robert Nürnberg. Both these guys kind of had quite dull races since all we got the DP now.
Oh, and that is it's got to be Thompson, hasn't it? Yeah, I thought it would be. Well, we're used to saying that on Apex Racing TV. Thompson around, not for the first time.
I was just about to say shot.
Yeah, you go. Can you give us a shot?
He probably can. Where's Marty when you need him? Yeah, me. Or Philip Stam, we'll blame him for some of that business as well.
I was talking. Who was the guy that I was talking to that night? I was talking to the leader of one of the team.
Everybody.
I was talking to the leader of the core team, and that doesn't do any of the racing. I think that's what it was. Can't remember much, but yeah.
I've forgotten his name. I do apologise. I had a lot of alcohol that evening, so I did forget a few of the people's names. Stefan Modet,
including your own at one point.
Calm yourself down.
That's okay. I think we both thought we were John Watson by the end of the evening.
I can't even do it now. That's the thing. I can't do that impression when I'm sober. I found that out. Modet just in front of Robert Nürnberg then. 2 Audis battling in the final stages. And Alex, is it pretty easy or difficult to be suddenly finding yourself fighting a car at the end of the race after such a long, grueling event?
Yeah, I'm sure he wouldn't want to be having to defend his position at this point. 7 minutes to go, but yeah, that's what it's on. Pressure builds up every lap. He would have seen that gap coming down on his relative, and here we are with 7 minutes to go, and he's going to have to defend for a good solid 4 laps out there.
He's done the entire race. He's on his 83rd lap of the race, and you know, it doesn't really matter who you are. He was starting to lose a bit of concentration. He'll be getting a little bit tired at this point, and Stefan Modder looking like he is looking like he's heading for 4th place. But see, I mean, he isn't doing well in the corners, isn't he? He's getting an advantage. Nuremberg, it looks like he's got better, maybe a bit of straight line speed advantage.
Yeah, let's see. I've got the speeds up. Let's see how we do going down the straight. See what the comparable difference is. Takes a little while for the toe to kick in. There it is. 240, 50, 260 against sort of 250. So it's a good 10k quicker down the straights if he can get close enough to get the job done. It's definitely on. Like I say, just lost the time straight away through the chicane. Doesn't feel confident, does he, through the corners, but carrying a bit more speed, so maybe a bit less wing on the back of that Audi.
Oh,
it is a track where you can get away with. It is a track where you can get away with lower downforce, but yeah, you're right. He almost ran to the back of it.
5 minutes to go. It's about a 90-second lap in all of the classes here, so we've still got a few more tours of the circuit to go to decide the outcome of this scrap. This is a very oh yeah, it is a close battle actually. We've got Mark Hewitt versus Jeffrey Ooms. Yeah, that battle's on closed right up.
I think
it's a lap down.
Less difference in laps there.
Oh, okay. Apologies, everyone.
You'd have scared the life of any fans of Jeffrey Ooms there on the watching the broadcast. Yeah, he's managed to lap his nearest competition, and that is pretty much done and dusted. Unless Mark Hewitt decides, well, I'm just going to whack him, which gives himself a chance. I don't know, but yeah, brilliant driving from Jeffrey Ooms. Been head and shoulders above absolutely everybody today.
I should also mention, yeah, I saw 1.3 on my timing screen, but it means 1.3 minutes. Well, a minute and 30 seconds.
And the West Frisia car was going very slowly indeed. What was that in aid of? That was weird. He lost a lot of time through the second corner, Sam. I'm not really sure what that was about.
Yes, hey, which guy was that?
Hewitt.
Hey, Hewitt. Yeah, so I didn't even see that. So
he lost a lot of time. He didn't look like he made a mistake.
Second corner, so maybe he picked up like a slowdown in bus stop and quickly had to get rid of that. I don't know. But,
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, just needs to.
Or maybe he cut turn one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, possibly. It is quite easy to do that.
Yep. Okay. Anything else really going on? Not a lot for position, I have to say. But there is Schofield Racing just taking the Ferrari of 4X Racing OGR team. That's 4th position. That's for 10th place on the track. So a late move there by Rob Schofield. Lars Peterson has to concede the position. He's in. Peterson is in.
Oh, we got contact
5th
up
position.
There, so that wasn't Nürnberg. That was Mods just went straight into the back of Subek, the race leader. And it wasn't too bad. A little bit of contact, but Subek hasn't lost out. But Mod has lost a position to Nürnberg. So yeah, that may continues right on his tail on the exit of the chicane. But he is going to have a bit of damage now. He was already losing a bit down the straight, so he's going to lose even more time now.
Alex,
Gone straight into the back of him.
Alex, that is absolutely not what you want after 142 minutes of racing, is it?
2.5 minutes left of the race and you get waxed. Now you're absolutely having kittens, I think, out there.
Whacked by a guy who's 6 seconds a lap slower.
Yeah.
But fortunately, no major damage, and yeah, it's not going to give Jaeger anything to try and latch onto.
As long as his monitors didn't fall off, like Triple E says, he'll be doing fine.
Rob Schofield had another spin,
God!
But he's carried on. Nothing new for him.
No, he's had an eventful one, hasn't he, Schofield? Now back behind the Ferrari, he's just overtaken.
An ultimate lap then for Philip Sudbeck. When he comes around to the line, he'll be getting the white flag. One more lap to go after this one. It'll be 94 laps of racing day around Montreal, and it looks like it's only going to be Sudbeck and Eric Jaeger are going to complete all 94 of them.
Sudbeck would be forgiven for thinking the white flag means the opposition have all surrendered, because he's absolutely pasted everyone today. 21 seconds. I mean, I know that's not an absolute kick-in, is it? But considering that he's had the spin, Alex, and someone's been into the back of him, to still win by that amount of time.
Yep.
It'll be very good if he makes it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the thing with these endurance races. You've got to be on the ball, haven't you? The whole thing. And to be fair, he has, even with the little moments that he's had. So
he's another one who's driven the whole race himself, which is still pretty impressive. I don't care if you say it's only 2 hours and 24 minutes, but that's a long time to be driving on your own.
Yep. No, I agree.
Especially in a shorter race. I think if you're doing a 24-hour race, doing a 3-hour stint, which is, I did at one point during Le Mans, was absolutely okay, because you're aware that it's part of the bigger picture. But when you've got to push quite hard at somewhat of a sprint race pace, it can take a lot out of you. And Sudbeck has done a fantastic job out there, as have all the class leaders. Jeffrey Ooms, I'd give driver of the day to. I think he's been absolutely excellent. He's had no contenders in the Ferrari at all. Obviously, we've got his setup off Clive Lawrence. Niels Hartmann as well in the GT3s, currently leading. He's quite some distance ahead now. He's about 20 seconds, I'd say, ahead of Mike Nürnberg. Then in the... well, that's it, isn't it?
Here comes Sudbeck then through the final corner.
There we go then. Checkered flag flies. Nick waves for Philip Sudbeck. He takes the win here in the 2.4 hours of Montreal. Dominant victory, 22 seconds. Fantastic, as Murray Walker used to say. Eric Jaeger then. Oh, he's had some hairy moments, says Jaeger, but...
Hartmann across the line as well.
GT3 winner. Indeed, yes, CTA Sim Sports #1. Well done to them. Niels Hartmann taking the win, finishing in 7th place overall.
Jeffrey Ooms almost making his way to the hairpin. And Sam, I think he's been the standout performer of this evening's race.
Yeah, certainly. I think he's already won because he's a lap ahead of Mark Hewitt.
Yes, you're right.
He's technically already won this race, so just shows the dominance of Ooms today. And,
as long as he doesn't get disqualified in the next 500 metres, he'll be...
Well, even then, I think he still wins. So, yeah, I don't know if he's going to try to find a way, but across the final chicane, coming up to the line, thanks from Jeffrey Ooms to take the GT victory.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Well played there, Jeffrey Ooms. And yeah, Ooms zooms to the top step of the podium, Adam.
And the rest of the field looked doomed.
And they were.
There was another one in my head, but I've completely forgotten it. But yeah,
oh, it's alright. We're good.
But yeah, we've had enough. Good job, Williams, and I think that's everyone finished. So I think we can run you through the finishing order then from the race. ETA Simsport #6 then take the race victory, 22 seconds ahead of Missile Motorsports with Eric Jaeger in second. Then it's race victory for Ooms Motorsport Car 97 on the main podium with the win in the GTEs. Wes Fraser Sim Racing in second. Racing Community.de Fire finishing in third in the GTEs. Then we've got Dave Sostello's Corvette DP that's finished 6th in overall, 3rd in class. Then we've got the GT3 winner, that is Niels Hartmann, winning in the Mercedes. Mercedes, the fastest car in the GT3 field today. Then second place is the 21 of Mike Nürnberg. It's Audi winning, second Mercedes, there you go. Racing Community.de Water next up in the Ferrari with 4X OGR in behind him in 10th overall. Then we've got Schofield Racing and Total Downforce, 2 Corvette DPs that were off the pace today. Then we've got VEC Sim Racing 83 in 13th place. That is one of the Mercs. Then we've got a whole lot of Audis here. We've got Trash Panda Racing number 18 and 14, 15th VEC Sim Racing 85, and VEC Sim Racing number 82. Then we've got Sim Sport Garage 17, Team 1. The Ferrari wasn't having a good time today, and neither was the 17 Trash Panda Racing car, finished 18th overall. Reverend Racing, it's just a shame that they got disqualified in the end. They were excommunicated from the race after the crash they had. They finished 19th overall. Then 20th HSS Racing number 37, SimSync Pro Racing GTD. Problems for them, 84 laps down, and the safety car finished ahead of 2 cars, I noticed. The VEC Sim Racing Blue Shield car, Philip Gaillard wasn't able to take the start on that one, and Ponte Motorsports, 4X Racing OGR number 3, and Diggs Motorsport all registered for the session, but didn't take the start.
But when you lose to the safety car, I mean, well, it didn't go particularly well for you, did it? That's probably the best one I've heard from you in a long time. Excommunicated from the race. I'm not sure that's something I ever thought I would say, but Alex, here we are, and it's happened.
Yeah,
I hope we'll never hear it again.
a good race. I enjoyed that. Interesting series. You know, I hope they come back. We do a few more of these actually, because yeah, it was good. Give us a bit of freedom with you know, me, Adam, and Sam, just to disappear for a break every now and again and whatnot. It was yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
So, Sam, final word from yourself. Something you'd like to see again on Apex Racing TV?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I think the format for this series is really good. How it replicates the real life IMSA series very accurately. I think they do 2 hour 40-minute races in IMSA for the majority of the season. So this is very similar and very good schedule as well. Got some top drivers in here as well. So provided some very entertaining racing up there, and you know, 16 drivers finishing out of 25 starters, like that's a very good attrition rate. It shows that these drivers were determined to get to the finish.
Well, I think I'm hoping we see another race here on Apex Racing TV. If not, might potentially enter a car myself in this one, because I reckon it'd be a pretty good one to do. Thank you everybody for watching, and we're going to be back actually very, very short order, really, in just about 10 or 15 minutes time for the Club 73 Touring Car Championship. So stick with us here on Apex Racing TV for that one. So from Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath, Alex Simpson, and Sam Fitzpatrick, it's good night from the TSRC. Sorry, excuse me, the TSRC TV V-TEC 2.4 hour Grand Prix of Canada, and hopefully we'll see you next time.